Hey everybody, Zach here. Just wanted to really quick say that we are back from our big hiatus. I know we haven't really had an episode out since the end of March. So episodes 38 to 39, and we have an extra episode ready. They are going to be coming out every single week for the next 3 weeks. Those were pre-recorded all the way back in March and April. So our newest episode, which was episode 40, which Aden and I are really excited to share with you guys, it won't come out till the end of September. And then at that point, everything else will be brand new. But this episode, the next couple episodes were pre-recorded back in April. So all of the YouTube news and all of the Your Week on YouTube stuff is older. But since this podcast is also about our journey as creators, we felt it was good to keep it in the podcast because there's still stuff that we learned from it, and hopefully still stuff that you can learn from it. But anyways, let me bring this over to past Zach and Aden now. I'm Zach Snyder.
And I'm Aden Matthews.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast, the one-stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
The show where we record it the first time and it always works out.
Hell yeah!
This totally isn't a second attempt at this.
It's not. 12 minutes did not get corrupted. We had to restart it, I promise.
Not us. We got everything locked down and loaded and stuff.
Yeah. You missed the entire 4-minute rant about feet this time.
Yeah.
Shaking my
Poor
head.
you guys. We were going to go into like wiki feet pages and like rate feet for a whole episode, but unfortunately it got corrupted, so I guess you guys won't be hearing any of that. It's a real tragedy.
I'll try to recover the file, put it on Patreon.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think it'll be worth it.
The Lost Feet episode.
Anyways, today's episode is all about how we're going to talk about video editing. Video editing.
This has been a topic that I've suggested before. And it's kind of a complex topic where you could either say a lot about it or very little about it. And I think we were kind of scared of it for a while, but heck, we're going to try it today. We're going to see how it goes and see how much advice we could offer in the editing field, given the knowledge that we can't actually show you anything because it's an audio podcast.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Me too. I like editing. A good bit, actually.
Yes.
But first, we got our two quick little segments.
Quick, LOL. An hour later.
Our little YouTube news, because we have a couple of those today, and Your Week on YouTube trademark.
Wow. My favorite segment of all time. The best.
I had a little stroke when I tried to introduce that in the first recording.
He was like, you're another week on YouTube trademark. Like you saw for like a solid 30 seconds. It was great.
It went 30 seconds. Let's calm down.
It felt pretty long.
Yeah, I'm
like
sure.
An eternity.
But anyways, let's get into the YouTube news.
Let's jump right into the news.
It's ironic that you say that because we're going to shit on Keemstar a little bit.
Yay! Gather around, children. Let's see what Keemstar's latest fuck up of many is.
So, we're not a drama podcast. Let's get that started.
Except for between me and Zach, our beef is still going very strong.
It's still happening. So, you know, leave us put down in the comments which one you think would win in a fist fight outside Walmart.
I'm betting on you on that one. You're like two me's, so I'm done. I also feel like if it was outside Walmart, there'd be like no rules, so it'd be a little bit of a Oh, if I had a gun, maybe, yeah, sure.
If this dude would bring a gun, he would.
I really would. I don't want to die. Like, fuck off.
Anyways, Keemstar, this boy. So last week on Twitter, he posted this little thing. He's like, I'm trying to do some small YouTuber reviews, and he was like, so put your links in there, and I'll review them. And he did end up reviewing like 20 different channels. And I say review. We'll keep that in quotation marks because what it ended up being was like 20 different 2-minute videos where he'd watch part of a video off of like a kid's channel, basically. Like just children doing vlogs and all this kind of stuff. And then just shit on them.
Wow.
So No constructive criticism.
What a
A
dirtbag.
lot of, yeah, you should probably quit your channel. A lot of
Great.
those. Yeah. And it was just, I think I watched about 5 of these when I just kind of thought, I think the reason he decided to do this was just so that he could, like, have some comedy for the day.
Yeah, just so he could get his clout up and flex on a bunch of children,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Which,
So,
believe it or not, is not how constructive criticism works.
it's not. So let that be a lesson to you as far as not to do reviews of any sorts. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was wild. But it kind of goes into the next thing that he did, which is like earlier today, he posted something that was like, if you're trying to be a big YouTuber, you should really stop. Are you trying to be a successful YouTuber? You should not try to make it because it's the same as being famous or a musician or something. It's just a bunch of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree. I do.
I do too.
I think we both think that there is luck involved. Absolutely is luck involved. But a lot of it comes down to hard work.
Yeah, when you place all the emphasis of success on luck, it really kind of devalues all the other very important aspects that go into making yourself a success on YouTube. The biggest one being, hard work, right? A lot of people are like, I'm just going to get lucky one day and that'll be it. The thing about getting lucky is you have to have enough videos, enough opportunities for that to happen, right? You can work toward being lucky. If you have 1,000 videos produce, like mathematically speaking, about 900 of them are not going to do well, are not going to get lucky. You're not going to have the person that you want to see them. You're not going to get your big break, whatever. But if you keep trying, odds are at least one of those videos will do well and you'll get to the place you need to be. So yes, that is technically lucky. But when you try 1,000 times to do one thing, chances are you're going to succeed eventually, right? You have to work toward that hard luck. You have to work toward luck.
And keep in mind that succeeding in that mind state might not even be you becoming successful on YouTube. It might just be you becoming really good at videos or you figuring out what you want to do. And all of that is a big process. It's a big important part of the process when it comes to YouTube.
Being able to pay your bills or like having a good community of people. Like what's your definition of success here, right? It's different for everybody.
And it's also important to realize that, like, if you're trying to be an actor or you're trying to be a musician, it's a little harder to make a living out of that if you're not big. Mm-hmm. But if you're on YouTube, like, you could very easily get a small community of 20,000 subscribers and create very niche content and get like $50,000 a year from it.
Play your cards right. Absolutely.
So, figure out what it is you want to do. We've talked about it time and time again, but it's like the reason I brought this up is because I don't think people talk about how the chances of success are actually much higher than you'd realize.
Right. Because people just want an excuse at the end of the day. We've talked about that.
That's true.
1,000 times. Of like they don't want to actually work, so they got to find some weird thing to blame it on, whether it's luck or Keemstar or whatever. But it is funny making fun of Keemstar though. That's great.
I agree. I think I'm gonna just kind of find more dirt on him, and then
talk about it again.
Talk about it again, yeah.
Yeah.
But
is that all you had on Keemstar news?
That's all I have on Keemstar news. I'm sorry, I should have came up with more. But
if only we had a 1 hour Keemstar segment in every podcast.
I'm starting our Keemstar podcast this week, so get hyped.
Stay tuned.
We're just going to critique every single episode of Drama Alert.
the cinematography in Drama Alert. Get Jay the Zoomster on.
Hell yeah.
Make him talk about the color correction or whatever.
The shot composition in this particular episode
of Drama Alert is bad. Anyway, next news. I want to talk about something
news
that isn't very much like a national YouTube story, but more like a story within our own community. So not everybody's going to get this, but the point that I'm going to get to can apply to everybody. So here we go. Let's tell this quick story. So, fan of the podcast, Master, He's commented on a few episodes of ours, wanting to get back into YouTube, wanting to make videos again. We've read some of his comments on here, all that sort of fun stuff. He puts out a video, and it's about, like, streaming equipment and, like, where to start. Like, okay, fair enough. Thumbnail looks pretty good. The production value looks pretty good. He's, like, got a green screen and a chair. 40-minute video packed with a lot of information. That's all fine and dandy. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? His main sentiment in the video, me, Zach, and Calfro pretty much disagree with wholeheartedly. And the reason we're bringing this up is not to, like, clown on Master or make fun of him or whatever. That's far from it. We really don't want to do that. The reason we're bringing it up is because, like, a lot of people think this way, and I find it to be, like, a very interesting topic in general. So, yeah, I'm gonna let Zach describe what the message of his video was and the problem we had with it.
Yeah, so the main sentiment was if you're gonna learn how to live stream, you need to go out and buy a bunch of equipment first. And I mean, he was, showing off different types of equipment, and I think he even mentions he's like, go out and get a couple $1,000s worth of equipment before you live stream because it'll make your channel better and all that kind of stuff. Production quality will be good. And I think that the thing that rubbed me the wrong way is that, number one, that's just not true. Like, you shouldn't go out and buy a bunch of equipment before you stream. Absolutely not. But it's also like certain parts of the equipment are things like a stream deck. I don't have a stream deck, and I'm doing just fine with my live streams. Lots of people don't have a stream deck, or like a shock mount. It's like, these are nice things to have. Completely agree with that. And I think that for somebody that's growing, and I think this is the issue with it, for somebody that's growing, these are absolutely things you should be investing in.
And the equipment itself is good in quality. Like, he recommends some good stuff in here.
He has the same microphone that I do. So, I mean, I recommend it. But it's like, if you're interested in learning about more equipment and you haven't listened to our episode on it, but want to watch like a shorter video, you can go check this out and check out what kind of equipment he's recommending. But I think the biggest problem here, and Master is not the only person to ever say this, like you said.
No, a lot of people have.
We're not people
specifically calling him out. Like, a lot of people do this.
There's a lot of people that don't understand the difference between getting started on YouTube or Twitch or anything like that and growing on YouTube and Twitch or anything like that. There's a big difference, and a lot of people just don't understand it.
The truth of the matter is that if you want to get started streaming, the important thing is not how much equipment you have. The important thing is that you get started and you begin building that audience, right? Because as soon as you get that audience down, you're able to kind of experiment and grow from there. The problem with buying $2,000 worth of equipment first before you start streaming is that, like, what if you hate it? What if you don't like doing it? What if you're not a good personality? Like, what if you can't bring an audience up? Well, then you just wasted, like, $2,000 worth of stuff. And granted, you could try and sell some of that back or maybe turn it into a YouTube thing or whatever. But, like, I think it's a bit of a safer and smarter option to just go ahead and start streaming now and see what happens, right? And the other thing I want to bring up, too, is that, and this is something that I had to learn, so I'm guilty of this as well. When I was starting out YouTube and making videos, I always complained about my own quality. Like, man, the shot could look so much better. Man, I wish I had a better camera. Man, the audio isn't good in this. Man, I wish I got some higher resolution PNGs. Yada, yada, yada. I'm my biggest critic half the time. I nitpick the shit out of my production quality. Even now, with Back to the Video Games, I can find tons of problems for you if you want me to point them out, whether they're green screen related or whatever. Here's the thing. Most people don't care, right?
Right.
A lot of people do not care about production quality, especially if you're just starting out. Because I think audiences expect that if this is your first video or first channel, it's probably not going to look good, right? You know? And we don't give the audience that credit that they rightfully deserve of, like, yeah, as long as your video isn't god-awful, I mean, if you're screaming into the mic and the video's like recorded onto like a 144p camera, yeah, fix your production quality. Seriously. But like, people are okay with 720p. People are okay with Blue Yeti USB microphones that cost $50. People are okay without you writing scripts. People are okay with JPEGs. People are okay with bad green screens, bad transitions. So long as the content itself is good, so long as you are interesting, the production value does not matter, especially when you're starting out. And I learned that firsthand. A lot of my early videos were like that. It did well. My streams did well. And it wasn't because I had the best camera in the world. It's because people found me interesting.
Exactly.
And that's the part you have to work at first before you spend $2,000 worth of equipment on stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like I did some reflecting recently. I found a very old video that was on another guy's channel that I was in. It was like a podcast type thing, and it was like 30 minutes, and it's fucking awful. There's like I sound like a child, and my mic quality is the worst thing on planet Earth, and I did not flow well in conversation whatsoever. This is at a time that I couldn't curse, but like the other dude, like I couldn't curse in my house, but it's like the other dude was cursing like a sailor, and so it just didn't work out at all. It was, but I was reflecting on it because this was a time that I kind of look fondly back on. This was 2012. I had just gotten into Let's Plays. I was a part of this community, and it was awesome because I had like a group of people that were fine with letting me jump in a call and do recordings with them, even though my audio quality was awful and my video quality was awful. And like, it just reminded me that, number one, it reminded me how far I've come, which is cool. But it also reminded me that like, there's so many more people that don't care about the quality of your videos and care more about your personality and who you are as a person than anything else.
And I worry that like people are going to watch this video like 2012 Zach and come to the conclusion of like, well, I guess I'm just not going to start until I have $2,000 worth of equipment. And I would hate that, right? Like, sure, I don't want to suffer through 2012 through like 2013, 2014 Zach. None of us do. But
thanks.
I would rather he went through those years so that we got to the point where we're at now. I'm so happy people gave him a chance, right?
Yeah, me too.
And I hate for someone going through that now to watch an equipment video like that and be like, well, I guess I'm not worth it enough to do it myself, right?
Yeah.
Because people are self-conscious like that. A lot of people really do feel like you have to have at least almost like a TV show production value to fucking go anywhere, and that's not the case. Even today with how much standards have grown from past YouTube, that community is still there. And if you know the right people and you find the right audience, they'll love you for you, man. But that's it. I don't want to... Again, nothing personal against the master. Again, the video for the most part is pretty solid. I just found the topic itself and the sentiment interesting to talk about for a new segment like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dope. Do we want to get into the big news topic that's kind of serious?
The final news topic?
Final news topic, yeah. Oof.
What is it? What happened?
Okay, so we're in Adpocalypse 3.0, everybody. It's clap. It's clap. Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. We finally did it. So, I'll try to make this story as short as possible because it really is a mess. It's been found that there were pedo rings on YouTube.
Whoa!
How amazing is that?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. There was, still probably are some, but YouTube has started taking action against it. The issue that arises here is, while yes, the pedo ring thing is fucking awful, and I'm glad that they're starting to take care of that. One of the big issues for creators at the moment is that there's this dude, and I'm not going to name him because I just don't care to give him any more attention. There's this dude that has constantly, apparently in the past, talked about how YouTube's not a real job, and I hate that YouTubers make money from their videos and all that kind of stuff. So then when he discovered this pedo ring situation, he made like a big video that got super viral about it, and his encouragement, he encouraged YouTube to get rid of this, right? This shit. But then he also encouraged advertisers to drop out of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we haven't had enough problems with that in the past. And he went as far as to like get people to tweet at advertisers and say, "Yo, you should stop supporting YouTube because of this." And so now we're in Adpocalypse 3.0.
YouTube has scrambled to try and not only get rid of the peddling stuff, but bring advertisers back. And it's been like a whole mess of things. All right, so hot first take on this.
Yeah.
On the one hand, peddling stuff being gone, like, about fucking time.
Right? Absolutely. We've heard about this before.
I talked about it in my 2017 YouTube Rewind video. It's like one of the last things I mentioned. It's been known for a long, long ass time. It sucks that like it took this fucking long, and it took some random guy to finally get to YouTube to be like, hey, this shit's been going on forever. We mentioned it in this podcast like several times.
Right.
And the fact that it's just now getting addressed is like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I'm glad they're getting rid of it, but damn, that took way too long. So that's the one hand thing. I'm glad they're getting rid of that. On the other hand, this guy sounds salty as hell that he didn't make it on himself, and so to take revenge out on everybody, just decided to find the quickest way to blow shit up. And was like, oh, peddling stuff? This'll do just well. Made a video, finally got the attention and viralness he wanted. But I guess he's not going to be getting that many ads off of them anyway, so with this Adpocalypse thing. And now a ton of creators are once again screwed. People are having to find different ways to make money aside from ad revenue. And once again, like, got to put your eggs in more than one basket. So that's my take. I want to hear from you, Zach. What do you think?
It just sucks that somebody is salty because they didn't work hard enough or didn't make interesting enough content or whatever, and they didn't make it on YouTube. And so they had to, like, come after everybody for it. I just feel like that's such a shitty thing to do. Again, absolutely good that the fucking pedo rings is off, because that's disgusting and it's awful. And I mean, it's obvious, right? Like, obviously that shit should not be on YouTube. That shit shouldn't exist anywhere, right?
I think it's the intentions, though, right?
Right.
This guy clearly did not have the good-hearted intentions to get rid of the pedo ring. He did it
so
he could ruin things some more.
And that's what makes him a piece of shit. Right? Like, it's... Oh, man. I think it's like... Because when you hear about his, like, backstory, he had another YouTube channel that was, like, you know, had a few hundred subscribers. It didn't go anywhere. And then he had, like, this... It was, like, a comedy thing, quote-unquote comedy. It was really just him, like, going around being this creepy dude to random women on the streets, acting like it's funny. So it's like there's this whole, like, background story. You can look into it if you want to. I only saw this through passing. But it's, Disney and LOL Fortnite, both of them took out their ads from YouTube. And those are pretty big money people. Like, those are some pretty big advertisers. So it's like, that kind of sucks that we've lost those, and who knows how many more.
I think the good news here is that this one doesn't seem to be nearly as bad as the other two. And part of that is the fact that, like, we've had two. So, like, people are a bit more prepared for it as well.
Right. I think so.
And then the other thing is, like, people are already starting to come back to it. Right? There were some that left and some that are quickly coming back. Not as bad as the first two in a long shot, but that's not for me to, like, undermine all the other people who are seriously getting fucked over by this. So, to any of you out there, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. Me and Zach obviously don't, because we don't make ad money through this, but if you are...
I was thinking about it, And it's
whatever.
like, while I don't make direct money from ads, like I do make money from other YouTubers from editing their videos. So this does affect me this time.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
down the line, you get affected by it. I just
Yeah.
hate the fact that, like, and maybe this was never true to begin with, and maybe I'm wrong, and you can correct me on this, but it felt like in the early days of YouTube, it was kind of like one big family of, like, people looking out for each other, right?
Yeah.
Where if there was
I think it
something
did
wrong
feel
with
that
the
way,
community, we would all team together and fix it. That way YouTube didn't have to, right? We had a bit of a pride about us, a bit of, like, expectation that we were the new frontier of entertainment and we were going to put out some of the best content. And if something bad did happen, we would team together and we would raise money for charity and all this amazing stuff. But as time has, like, gone on, it's such a, like, almost high school drama-esque landscape where it's he said, she said, I'm salty, I'm jealous.
Oh boy.
And, like,
You don't
it's
even
so
know
big now. We're not even, like, a big family anymore. We're not even a community. It's, like, micro communities everywhere, each trying to fucking ruin the other one. And it really makes me feel sad a little bit that, like, we've gotten to the point now where there are active people on YouTube trying to ruin it for everybody. It's such a departure from the community we had, like, years ago. And maybe that never existed, but I don't know. It's just depressing.
I'll have some stuff to talk about in your week on YouTube segment about YouTube drama, unfortunately. But yeah, I mentioned this in the YouTube Rewind video episode. I was like, you know, the reason YouTube Rewind didn't work is because there's no such thing as the YouTube community anymore. It's a bunch of smaller communities. Like, it just honestly is. And I think that, you know, 5, 6, 10 years ago, like, it was a more together, like, cohesive community, but now it's so much, there's so much drama, and it definitely, it feels like high school, and it's so stupid.
Yeah,
man,
a lot of time
I
it's
hate
really
it.
stupid.
I hated drama in high school, and it's like to have to deal with it now as an adult is
with grown men.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ew. Yeah. That's all I had to say, though. This whole situation just sucks. I hope it gets better soon.
Yeah, same. I'll bring up one little other thing that I just remembered as far
bonus
as
news.
Bonus news. If you do any kind of giveaways outside of YouTube, like a little website called Gleam, which both of us have used in the past, you can't link those. You can't link those in the descriptions anymore.
Yeah.
They have basically banned that on YouTube, and people's channels, I think, have been taken down because of it. And yeah. I don't know the specific reason why.
It's also sub for sub channels.
Yeah, sub for sub channels are gone or are being taken care of, which I find to be a saving grace. Holy shit.
Yay.
But that also means that if you ever get any kind of sub for sub comments and you're not already deleting those, you should delete those immediately, because if there's too many of them on your channel can get flagged for it as well.
For being like a harbinger.
Yeah, so be careful.
Wasn't there a big thing of, like, YouTube will demonetize you now if your comments are salty or whatever?
Yeah,
like
so
it's not even the quality of the video anymore. It's like now your communities also have to be in check.
Yeah, it's the same, around the same reason as the Apocalypse thing, because of the pedo rings that were basically happening within a bunch of comment sections. If any kind of comments on, like, there was like a whole thing with child friendly and kid friendly channels being demonetized, even though that it was like super innocent stuff and it was like family vloggers and all that kind of stuff, because of this situation. So it's like there's still a mess that's got to be, like, cleaned up because of all of that, and I don't know how that's going to all play out, because I mean, we've already been told no cursing, you got to make family friendly content. And now apparently family friendly content's not good either, so I don't know what to do, man.
Right. I'm wondering, like, how are you expected to clean up comment sections, like, I guess for me and you, it's pretty easy. Like, delete bad comments, form a community of, like, like-minded people, positivity,
Right.
all that sort of shit. But it's, like, manageable for us because there aren't, like, a ton of people. I can't imagine what, like, a completionist video or Did You Know Gaming comment section is like. Like, how do you summarize 25,000 comments, right? And make them all positive and happy, I guess. I don't know. That seems almost impossible to do.
Yeah, because not only are you like trying to get rid of the comments that are negative or whatever, but like by getting rid of negative comments, then you're going to get called out for being a free speech hater and oh, you deleted our comment. That's not right. And then you just get more comments about that. So it's like I don't know how to win.
That's weird.
It's a mess. YouTube will always be a mess. So I think the sentiment of the podcast is do your best and be careful and just play it by ear. I don't think that this is ever a profession that's like not volatile. Like it's extremely volatile.
That's true.
I think that's important to realize.
Agreed.
But you know.
That only took 30 minutes.
Yay! We did it!
Yay! Well, that's all the news today, folks. Give us
All the news.
I don't know. What's a news anchor? Signing off? I don't know.
Deeba. That's all, folks.
I don't watch news.
I don't either. I hate the news. The only news I care about, and I really don't care about it either, is YouTube news. So here we
That's
are.
mainly for this podcast more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. So, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week on YouTube? Trademark.
Yeah. My week on YouTube? Don't you mean 2 weeks? 3? I don't know how many weeks it's been, actually.
It's been a couple. We did
been
record last week, and then we're like 2 episodes ahead still, so.
You really do be like that.
Keep in mind.
We're recording this on March 3rd, so whenever this comes out, I'm going to give you my week or so, last week of February, 1st of March time frame, I guess. So hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have too much to say on the YouTube front. You may notice that there hasn't been a video posted since 3 weeks ago. You may also notice that Aden on Anchor has taken a slight hiatus here and there. Really the only active things that have been going on are this podcast, whatever Zach edits one of them, and Lions Honor Gaming. Both of those things have been going pretty strong. Oh, and the Monthly Battle League channel. I finished it. I got all the videos out for February.
Hey.
They're all up there and ready to go for season 3.
That's
so
awesome.
That's hype. I'm glad that finally ended that chapter of trying to get all those older videos done. I've talked about it for so long, and now it's like finally finished. So yay, Monthly Battle League channel is doing good. This podcast doing fairly well, I'd say. And then Lions Honor Gaming,
So.
we're almost at 100 videos, dude. Isn't that wild?
Wild. It really is.
Isn't that? We're like at 97.
We were just a
96?
couple boys with a dream to make a Let's Play channel in 2018, and here we are.
Yeah. Until Dawn finally finished, guys. Like, what year is this?
Last two, the 2 penultimate episodes got 0 views, and then the last episode got 3 views. Isn't that epic? Anyways.
Yeah. We're pretty much done with solo Let's Plays. After Yoshi's over, we're probably going to be doing just co-op stuff from now on. Because even though it's like harder to manage and schedule, solo ones don't do that well, so...
They don't do that well, and I would personally rather stream.
So there we go.
So yeah.
The Until Dawn saga, I guess.
We did realize that we might be doing some live streaming on the channel. We tried one that didn't quite work as well, but we got more plans, I guess, for it in the future. So that's good.
We got the framework set up. Trying to do the Lines Under Nerdcast through here. We're back to doing like 7 series. Everybody's recording their stuff this weekend, except for Jay. But
LOL.
We have a couple series planned and ready to go, and we're ready to kick March, dude. Like, we may have missed this first like couple of days in March, but like next week and on, like we're gonna do pretty well. I feel we got a lot of cool series coming out. I'm very excited for that stuff.
Yeah, and if you wonder why we talk about a Let's Play channel on here, because it's an interesting experiment. It really is.
It very much is. Yeah,
starting a Let's Play channel in 2018, 2019 is, yeah, it's something, all right.
It's a wild thing. I've definitely grown from it though. With all the challenges of like getting everybody together and recording and stuff, it's taught me a lot along the way. So
yeah, don't
that's for
trust
sure.
Your friends.
But Aden, how come Aden on Anchor and Back to the Video Games didn't like upload for the past couple of weeks? Well, kids, your boy.
Oh yeah.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Dropped out of college.
Let's go.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yeah. It happened. It finally happened. I bitched about it for enough time, and it finally went down. And not even in like a very dramatic way either. It was just like, yo, I've been depressed for like 3 years, and I want to talk to somebody about it that isn't like Discord. So I like called my mom, and we talked about it, and we're like, yo, I'm fucking sad. And I think college is part of the problem, and I'd rather just like do internships and have Zach help me with freelance video editing. She's like, yeah. Okay. And so that was it. I'm out of college now, and I'm going to be trying to do some internships and have Zach teach me the ways of freelance editing alongside taking some therapy and some good old antidepressants. So that's where we're at right now. It's been a wild February, to say the least. Yeah. But in between all that trauma and such, I've moved back home. All my equipment's back here. I showed Zach a picture of my stupid wild setup. We're pretty much ready to go as far as making new stuff again. So be on the lookout for Aden on Anchor. Be on the lookout for Back to the Video Games. Be on the lookout for Aden finally not being a fucking depressed loader half the time. That's the most exciting part for me.
Sad by XXX Temptations. Passing on.
Tentosiuni.
Yeah. That's dope. I know last episode we talked about this, and got in like the real boy hours for a little bit, and so I'm really glad to see that you're doing better and you figured out what you're gonna do, at least for now, and go move forward, which is hype.
It's a transition period for sure, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I think that's pretty much. Yeah, I can't think of anything else in particular. So, Zach, how was your week on YouTube, Chief?
Yo, let me tell you. All right, so a few things happened. I'll get into like the YouTube, my personal YouTube shit right quick. I watched 5 shitty Adam Sandler movies. Did videos about them. That was epic. That was the first annual Adam Sandler week was a success.
Yeah. What was your favorite out of the 5?
As far as movies go, I was excited to rewatch 50 First Dates. As far as videos go, I'm actually really happy with the Jack and Jill video.
Yes.
I hated that movie, but boy, was that a fun video to make.
That video was a trip.
What was super cool about these videos was I was going to start writing scripts, and I was like, man, I'm not feeling this. I'm getting too analytical with these shitty movies, and so I ended up just like recording them back to back, unfiltered, unscripted, and I think they turned out really well because of that.
I do too.
Thank you.
They were really good.
One of the struggles that I'm having lately is like, as far as the creativity goes behind these videos, I like doing scripts, but I feel like they hold me back. And so I've started to, and I got a couple of videos I haven't been able to put out the proper schedule this past week, but I have a couple of videos ready to go up as soon as I edit them. And I tried them without a script, and I think they also turned out well. So I think I'm going to start doing like little outlines, little notes, and then going from there, because I feel like I basically, when I write my script, I like read it out loud anyways. So I think that'll be a good little creativity thing.
Where have I heard that approach before?
I don't know.
Let me think about it. Maybe that Aiden of Blue Couch Productions guy kind of does a similar thing to
It's
that.
possible.
Yeah. Perhaps. No, I'm excited to see how you do with that scripts stuff in there. If the Adam Sandler week's anything to go by, it should be good.
I'm excited because I also like some of these videos that I've made on Your Everyday Nerd recently have been like they've been fine. And it's like they're good movie reviews, I think, but it's not like there's a whole lot of jokes. There's not a lot of entertainment value to them, and it's if somebody was to rewatch episodes of the show, those are the ones that they would actively skip. I feel like. So I really want to make each episode entertaining, and unless I'm going into like, let's have a really good idea for some super analytical shit, which is possible, and I do have some ideas down the pipeline for that. But I like making people laugh, and I really want to keep doing that as much as possible. So yeah, that's that. Finishing up the Oscar stuff this week because did not get those done in time before the actual Oscars happen.
You haven't even gotten to the Best Picture winner.
I haven't.
The H.
I have three more videos there. Two of them are about the individual movies, and then I have my little ranking, and then I need to catch up on the rest of the anime this season because I'm behind on that shit too, and get that video out hopefully this week. And then got a bunch of other shit. I decided to start doing premium episodes. I think I mentioned that last time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the idea for that video this month, so I'm excited to do that. And I'll go ahead and mention it in case anybody wants to have on that Patreon. But I'm going to do a ranking of the characters from all the Adam Sandler movies I talked about this year.
Whoa.
So think Pokemon waifus, but with Adam Sandler characters.
That'll be good. That'll be really good.
Excited for that. And then next month, I'm going to do like a top 10 Dark Souls clones. And it's not going to be legitimate, so it should be funny.
I miss the good old shitpost videos.
Yeah. I think those would be really good for the premium episodes. Other than that, I put out a supercut. Did I mention that last time? I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. This is new.
I put out a supercut of the first 50 episodes of Your Everyday Nerd. And it got more views than a few of my other videos, which is hilarious. But good old Patient.
The mad lad.
The mad lad. Here, the mad lass, if you will. Decided to watch the entire 10 hours and 12 minutes.
Jesus.
In one sitting.
God.
I don't know why. But I appreciate the watch time.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, that was funny. I just kind of did that as an experiment. I wanted to see how many hours I had made this show. I took out all the ads and sponsorship stuff. And I just figured, maybe, I don't think anybody's going to watch this, but I want to upload it anyways. And she was like, yeah, I'll watch it, sure. Didn't even ask her. I didn't ask anybody. I was just like, here's a thing in case anybody wants to ever see it, ever. And she did it, and I thank her for it, you know?
It's easy to marathon. In one video, you don't got to click on them. Don't have to worry about YouTube autoplay. It's all right there.
No ads. It's good.
No ads. Would it have been another hour with the ads, or how long do you think it would have been?
Probably another couple hours.
Damn.
Yeah. Because it's 50 episodes, and at least like 30 of them had little ad spots, so I don't know. But I didn't feel like those should be in there for a supercut, personally. Because most of them are done anyways.
When are we going to do the YouTube podcast supercut of all 38 episodes?
I got you.
That'd probably be like 300 hours or something stupid.
You wouldn't even be able to upload that to YouTube. That's the
probably
thing.
Not.
Yeah. It'd be interesting, though.
It'd be funny.
It would take 3 days to render, so I'm not about that life.
You had nothing else going on.
Got nothing else going on. I'm just going to sit there and watch it render for fucking ever.
Watch some anime.
Yeah.
Let that
Watch some
render.
anime. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that's that. I don't think I have anything else to talk about the show. We talked about Lions Owner Gaming. This podcast, still making it happen. But I had a big little event this week that was not fun to deal with. And I haven't actually talked to you about it. I talked a little bit to Jay about it. But one of my clients, and I'm not going to mention specifics because I really just don't want to have any more drama brought up. But one of my clients recently got 100,000 subscribers. And there was some drama started by some other channels surrounding his channel. And it's been a shit show.
Yeah, I've seen some of the backlash and stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, it's wild. Again, don't want to mention specifics because I think we're at the end of it. Thankfully. I hope we are. But he's going to take a week off, which means that's a week of work that I'm not getting from him. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But it's just been kind of heartbreaking to like see how he's had to deal with all of this. And I've had to deal with a little bit of the drama. It's not much, but like being his editor, you know, I have to edit some of the videos, like the apology stuff, and like shit, man. It just goes to show that even when somebody who has really good intentions, there's still people that want to start drama on YouTube. Yeah. So that has affected my week a good bit. Again, not as personally as it affected him, but I feel like it's important to mention because it taught me a very valuable lesson. I might have to deal with this. You might have to deal with this at some point. You know, you never know.
One day.
Yeah. And so I think the biggest thing I learned was to just not respond to anybody. I'm very surprised. Like, I put out a little tweet thread kind of defending him, right? Because I felt that he's just getting a bunch of bullshit for no reason. And I had about 5 or 6 different comments in response to my tweet, like trying to shit talk me and trying to be like, well, what do you mean there's no unwarranted drama and all that kind of stuff? And I just ended up not responding to any of them because I feel like if I do respond, it won't be nice and it won't be worth it. That's what it comes down to, right?
Right. You said your piece. You said all you had to say, and that was it.
Exactly.
None more needed to add.
I think so. So if you're in any kind of YouTube drama at any point, it might be good to just walk away, not do anything. If you're personally involved, I think being the bigger man or woman, you know, whatever, bigger person is probably the best thing to do because there's people that are just relentless. And it doesn't matter how many times you defend yourself, they'll just find another way to say, like, you're not doing shit the way they want it to be done or whatever.
Everybody's got issues.
Yep. But
sucks to hear.
Yeah, that's been a little rough. But other than that, I'm still somehow paying rent every month. I don't know how, but it's happening. Fuck. Yeah. Good shit, though. Good shit. Excited about your Everyday Nerd, as always. I'm really looking forward to some videos I'm doing in the future.
Did you mention your solo podcast?
Yo, I started another podcast because, LOL, I haven't
done too many of them yet.
Really, I'm looking forward to this one just because I have no expectations. I don't expect anybody to listen to it. I don't expect it to grow. It's really just for me. And it's called The Come Up. It was originally a little show I did on IGTV. Remember that?
Well. We talked about it. I remember.
We did talk about it, and I was excited about it for some reason. But I stopped doing Instagram TV like literally 2 weeks after it started, just because there wasn't anything there for me. Maybe I'll go back to it in the future. But anyways, to come up, the whole premise is I want to talk about my journey as not only a YouTuber, but a creative entrepreneur. And like, I'm still at the beginning of this journey, as most of us are. And I want to talk about that and go a little bit more in depth as to the specific struggles and successes that brings, rather than just Like, rather than just using this podcast that we're doing right now, because we talk about that stuff, but there are certain things that I don't get around to talking to on the Your Week on YouTube because it's not particularly relevant to that.
Yeah, so, I've watched the first episode and it was pretty good. I haven't caught up on the other 4 yet, but I'll probably like binge them or whatever. That seems to be how Aden and Zach functions. Is like people don't really watch them when they come out. They like wait a little while. Like, oh, there's like 4 of them. All right, I got nothing else to do. I'll fucking finish through these.
Just listen to Aden talk about shit. Listen to Zach talk about shit. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I have a couple of other ideas for episodes. They're not going to necessarily be on any kind of schedule. I did the first 5 days in a row, and then just haven't been able to do anything for a week. But I like the idea of it, and I think it'll be fun to do. Fun's not the right word.
Therapeutic?
More therapeutic, cathartic, yeah. Because, I mean, there's a lot of shit that comes with trying to make all this stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just want to be able to, like, you know how Gary Vee always talks about documenting your journey and all that kind of stuff. I just want to be able to do that properly without making it this big vlog series that I have to edit all the time and all that kind of stuff.
A little bit more small scale. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I think so. I think it's dope. But yeah, that's been the week. That's been the last couple of weeks.
On YouTube. Yeah.
Trademark. Gotta hit it up with the trademark.
Super important. Never forget.
I think so. But anyways, let's get into the main topic, boy.
Only an hour in and they're finally getting to the main topic? What the F?
I have to read part of a comment right quick. Our good child, Patient, says, "Welcome to another YouTube where we spend over an hour not talking about the subject, KXD."
Got him. We did it again.
I think she writes a novel, but we'll get into that in the actual comment section. But yeah.
We'll get into the novel.
I think that's hilarious because we did it again.
We did it again, everybody. It's not intentional, all right? The intention is not for us to derail or, like, not talk about the thing at all. And I feel like some people get the wrong impression that, like, oh, they spend an hour talking about all this other stuff, and so the main topic gets cut off prematurely. No, we talk about both for as long as we want to, right? There's no,
yeah, for sure.
There's no time limit on these. So, like, if you're worried that we just spent an hour on all that, and we're only going to be able to spend an hour on editing, like, we could go 2 or 3 on that if the topic's interesting enough, right? We don't limit ourselves like that. When we record these, we record these. We literally kind of block out a lot of time to do them. So don't feel like your main topic is not getting enough coverage, because don't worry, we spend all the time we want to on each thing.
And again, I like to say this quite frequently because, you know, just in case we have new listeners, they don't quite understand. I think this podcast is more than just a advice podcast for YouTube and how to grow and do all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that we talk about our own personal journeys because not a lot of people do that, and I think it's valuable information to just see, you know, what it does take, because your journey is going to be different than ours, but it's not like we're not going to face some of the same struggles throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
With all that being said, though, let's hop into the main topic. We are going to talk about video editing.
What's that?
That was my Adam Sandler impression. I don't know. I wasn't trying really all that
It was
hard.
fine. Well, I mean, he's not trying either. Let's be honest.
You know really just, like this podcast, Adam Sandler just kind of puts an episode out whenever he feels like just shits a movie out.
That's accurate to the
about
comments.
His sister looks just like him. Adam Sandler's stupid. Editing! Yay!
Editing is a thing that I didn't know you could do until a year into my 2 years into my YouTube career.
Did you used to think like they just filmed it all in one go and then uploaded it somehow?
No,
These crazy
I'm being a bit facetious. I just didn't edit it.
Oh, okay.
That's what it came down to. I did. Well, okay, that's not entirely inaccurate. one of my first videos was like some Windows Movie Maker trailer for some show that I was going to do. And then I worked on that, and I did edit that, even though, again, Windows Movie Maker, not good. But I didn't actually get into like editing my Let's Plays and all that kind of stuff until about 2 or 3 years into doing YouTube. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
watch 2012 Zach, that's for sure.
I guess I'll take you back in my history here. By the time Blue Couch Productions started, I'd been like editing a lot of my stuff through there. So ever since the beginning of this channel, I've edited every video pretty much. Some more than others, obviously.
Right.
If we want to go farther back to Mr. Mario 952, which has now been renamed to the Splutter Show, those Splutter Show episodes were edited on Camtasia Studio, which used to be my old editor of choice.
Sam.
And then before that was probably like Windows Movie Maker, home movie type shit. But I don't remember those days a whole lot. So I went from Movie Maker to Camtasia Studio to Vegas. And now I'm trying to do a little bit of Premiere on the side to kind of build my knowledge up on that as we went along. But yeah, I think even early on YouTube, I did at least some form of editing here and there. Nothing like large scale until Blue Couch Productions, but if you go back and watch the Splutter Show, like there's obviously cuts and transitions and gameplay and all sorts of shit in there. Nothing amazing or anything, but like enough to learn from. I learned a lot of editing from doing that and from doing like Duper Brothers Let's Plays. That's where I first picked up Vegas and learned how to edit gameplay and stuff like that. So that's kind of my journey through editing over the years to where I'm at now. A lot better now, thankfully.
Same. Holy shit. Yeah, I used Windows Movie Maker to do all my Let's Play shit, and then eventually got Camtasia. Used that as the editor for a long time. Like all the way until like 2015, 2016. But I also got Premiere Pro Elements around the same, like 2014, 2015. I dabbled in that, but I never really got super into it until around 2015, 2016. That was when I think 2017, I got a job as a web developer. They gave me like a subscription to Premiere Pro and the entire Creative Cloud shit. And now I can't live without that, so I get to pay a monthly subscription every month.
Yeah, boy.
It's amazing. But I love Premiere Pro. I love the whole Adobe Creative Cloud shit. And I would be lost without it.
Yeah. And that's where you're going to find the differences. Kind of like when we did our thumbnail episode. I mainly go with Vegas, which is not free. Don't ask how I got it. And Zach, meanwhile, does all the Adobe stuff. So there are going to be a few differences throughout this episode. Like how we do certain things is different between both platforms. But I've used both a little bit, and there are a good bit of similarities. Mainly the basic stuff is similar throughout both. So that stuff we can cover rather easily through there.
Yeah.
As far as recommended editors, the three big ones that I hear a lot of people talk about is Premiere, which is like movies a lot of YouTubers use. Vegas was kind of like the gaming editor for a while, and I don't know how it got that reputation, but every like
it was though, yeah.
Every like Let's Player or Call of Duty YouTuber or whatever had like a billion Vegas tutorials, and then I just kind of learned through that how to do other stuff. And the other one I see is Final Cut Pro for all you Mac people out there. That's kind of the big Mac exclusive one. MKBHD does his editing through that. If you own a Mac or anything of the sort, that's good. And then just to throw out like a bonus, like fourth option, Camtasia Studio is still good. It has a few things that it does better than Vegas, in my opinion. But it's like a bit more expensive, and I don't recommend
it's overly priced.
People going down that route. And then there's also like Movie Maker as well. But the three main ones, Vegas, Adobe Premiere, and Final Cut. So whichever one fits you personally, go with it, learn it. You'll be fine with one of those three.
I'll also say that I know that Calfro uses iMovie, and he does really good work on his videos. Like, I don't even know how he does some of the shit that he does in iMovie.
Yeah.
It's like I could do those in Premiere, but I didn't know you could do all that in iMovie. So definitely check that out if you're on Mac and you don't want to pay for software. And DaVinci Resolve, it's a little bit less intuitive, but if you want to get into like movie editing and do like a lot of color correction and all that kind of stuff, I believe it's free, and it's like one of the like industry standards with filmmaking.
There's a lot of free editors out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of free ones.
It used to be like the only free ones you get were like Movie Maker and iMovie, but now there's like a lot of good, affordable, cheap, or even free options out there. Not every editor has to be like $500, which is a plus. The three main ones I mentioned do cost money to use. You either buy it outright or you do a subscription model like Zach. So be prepared for that. However you want to deal with that.
I would recommend, if you have like $20 that you're willing to pay for Adobe Creative Cloud a month and you're a student, you can get that student discount. I would recommend that if that's something you really want to get into. I think what it comes down to is, do you know the basics of editing? If so, then maybe you're like around the time where you can start investing in an actual software. If you don't know the basics of editing, or also if you're like brand new into YouTube, then don't spend money on an editor unless you have that money to just kind of blow. Because,
I agree.
Again, if you don't like it, then you're just going to be wasting money.
Not even that, like, even if you do like it, I found for the first year of like hardcore serious editing was very much a lot of roadblocks. It was like, oh wait, how do I? No, I want to. Fuck, how did I? That for a while, and so that's like fine if it's paid for, but if you're paying money like every month and you're getting past those roadblocks a lot of the time, you really can't get much output out of your first year, especially if you're learning the ropes and doing it that way. So maybe wait on that until you kind of get an idea of what you're doing.
Right. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I number one, I think almost all of the editing techniques and tricks and all that kind of stuff are transferable. You can do the same things on one program as you can another for the most part. Mm-hmm. Just keep that in mind. They might be different hotkeys, shortcuts, menus, and all that kind of stuff, but pretty much everything is transferable. However, I will also say that when I started getting Adobe Creative Cloud, I didn't want to waste my money. And so I learned how to edit a lot faster. I watched a shit ton of tutorials, and I just kind of dug in there and really learned as much as I could early on so that I wasn't wasting my money. And now I edit at least one video, sometimes 2 or 3 videos a day. So I think that it's, I think it's a good investment if you like editing and you want to get into it a lot. But I wouldn't recommend it to a beginner at all.
Another thing I want to say about editing as far as like hardware and software wise, it is fairly important to have a decent computer. Most editing programs will work fine on any computer, but render times especially can have you waiting there a lot longer, especially if you have a garbage computer, or will crash on you if you try to put in too much footage. So like, be aware, you kind of have to have a decent, I'm not going to say gaming computer or high-end stuff, because I got away with a lot of shit on a bad Windows computer and laptop for a long time.
Same.
Just know, it helps a good bit if you also have a good computer to help render times go faster and help the program genuinely run better, because it takes up a lot of memory. And you got to be aware of that. Yeah.
Premiere is like that, so keep in mind. Have at least like 16 gigs of RAM if possible for that kind of shit. But yeah, I think that if you're just starting out and you're looking for an editor, start with something cheap to free, figure out how to use it first, and then you can start investing in the required technology to make that faster, make the render times faster, all that kind of stuff.
Kind of learn as you go a little bit of that.
Right.
As far as other hardware things, I will also, you don't have to have it. Something that helps me a lot, though, is having a good pair of headphones.
Same.
I lived for a long time editing through speakers, and when you're playing the same fucking 30-second soundbite over and over again, trying to figure out where these two audio tracks sync up, kind of will drive you mad a lot of the time, especially when other people in the other room have to hear it because it's playing through your speakers, but you want to make sure it sounds good, so you turn it up. Get yourself some decent headphones, preferably not a lot of bass in there. You kind of want something natural sounding. Will help you with editing your sanity and how to level your audio as well. But again, you don't have to have it. I went through shitty speakers for a long time. So
yeah,
it's a recommendation.
I think headphones in general are probably the best way to go. Sometimes I'll edit on my speakers, but it's like even some earbuds from the dollar store I think are better than nothing. You can usually hear the audio a lot better in headphones, especially for mixing and that kind of stuff.
Agreed. Let's think. Is there anything else? Oh yeah. Editing will leave you with big files. Be sure you have some way to hold on to that. In the early days, it was, I only have space for one video. Render that video, upload it, delete it, move on to the next project so I have more space again. Mm-hmm. Now, thankfully, it's hard drive on top of hard drive of shit. And even then, typically I'll just download the YouTube version and get rid of the huge-ass rendered one instead so I can make room for Steam games and other garbage. Storage definitely is a concern as you start to work with HD files, and God forbid if you're doing 4K, because that's just enormous shit. Be ready for that as well.
As somebody that professionally edits, I have to have like a couple terabytes because I work for multiple people and I edit for myself as well. And so we're talking about like dozens of gigabytes a week, right? It's ridiculous. But yeah, having backup storage is really a good idea if you can. In fact, like, especially in the middle of projects, saving that project file on multiple hard drives is probably a good idea. I should probably do this more. But
I definitely don't. I need to start doing it more.
Yeah, it's just very upsetting when you work for hours on a project and then something goes wrong and, there goes the video, better restart.
Agreed.
It's not a fun thing.
But I think that's all the hardware and software things, recommendations I have. Do you have any others before we get into like general how to edit stuff?
No, I think that's it. That's it for me.
Okay. So, welcome to Aden and Zach's editing class 101, I guess. Not really. We're gonna teach you a couple of basic moves. I'm not gonna tell you how to fucking do some crazy cross dissolve shit, but like, I'll give you a little bit of knowledge.
In order to color correct, you need to go into Adobe Premiere Pro and click on it. No, I'm not doing it today.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to give an introductory level of like, I'm a guy who don't even know what the fuck editing is. How do I do this shit? How do I do that? Okay. Try to help you here. So, in most every editing program, the main part you're concerned with is the little section at the bottom called the timeline. And you'll notice it's a timeline because that's where like the time code is and all these seconds are at. And there's typically a good bit of space there. In this said timeline, you can put tracks on there. In Vegas, it's either an audio track or a video track. I know different editing programs have different ways of organizing tracks, either by like color or weird shit like that. Anyway, the timeline is where you're going to be moving all your video and audio tracks, editing them, cutting them together, all that sort of stuff. It's where you're going to be spending most of your time. But there are other sections of editors I want to talk about. There's the part where you're able to upload your files to. In Vegas, it's like top left. I think in Premiere, it's like a bottom section.
It's all customizable.
It's all customized, yeah. That's important to know because you got to know where your files are at. There's typically also a preview screen that'll show you what your project looks like. In Vegas, there's even settings to change the preview to look like good or bad, depending if you need more speed or whatever to make it run better.
Same with
Um,
Premiere, yeah.
You'll have project settings in there to tell you what files you're dealing with, frame rates that'll tell you what it's dealing with, your display itself. And then there's all sorts of other special tabs full of transitions, text, video effects, media generators, options, all sorts of bonus shit that you don't need right away. But those in Vegas are the three main sections where you dump your files, the fucking preview screen, and the most important thing in every editing program, the timeline. I know there's more stuff in Premiere, so if I missed anything, feel free to add.
I would say just in general, no matter what software you have, the first thing you need to do when looking at a piece of software is learn the layout, right?
Yeah.
Like, all of that shit is important, and luckily with something like Premiere, you might even be able to do this with Vegas and other programs. I don't know. But I know with Premiere, you can customize the layout. You can get rid of windows that you're not going to use, which I do, and you can save that as a default workspace. And that's very helpful if you want to just kind of like have a workspace for videos that take minimal to no editing, and have a workspace for videos that you need to do color correction or whatever, right? Like, there's a lot of background settings and information and a lot of these programs that you may never need to touch because you record Let's Plays.
That's true. Right. It depends on sort of the project you're working on.
Right. So, like, keep in mind what kind of videos you make and figure out, like, what's the most important thing, and then go there. For any video, the first thing you need to do is do a rough cut. And essentially what that means is get rid of any dead air, get rid of any footage that's not important, go through all of your footage depending on the video. Some videos you'll have 20 different files that you have to go through. So getting all of the audio synced up and all of that kind of stuff is the first steps. And then you go through everything. You watch back everything. At least this is what I do. Watch back everything. Get rid of anything that doesn't need to be in there before you start trying to do any kind of fancy shit.
I agree. And I kind of want to get into more of that rough cut stuff now to start off with. So once you get your media files in there, whatever it might be, MP4, whatever, formats are a whole nother deal I don't want to get into. Drag that shit on your timeline. Make sure you have all your clips available from the beginning. If you have any images that you want, go ahead and put that in there now. Audio tracks, audio recordings, voiceovers, video, B-roll. Throw all that bitch in there in your editing program. Organize it if you want. I know people do that. I'm very messy. Okay. I just throw it all in there and know what it is because I've done it 1,000 times. Right. But some people want to organize it. That's fine. Anyway, what you want to do now is start getting that shit into your timeline in one form or another. I typically like to start with just the video and audio, so not a whole lot of images. I'm not doing animations, transitions, text, intros and outros. I'm talking strictly, like Zach said, base video and audio. First things first. Put that in your timeline. Now, rough cut. What is a cut in general? Basically, you are essentially cutting or splitting part of a track. So let's say I'm doing this podcast and I get a phone call or whatever, and I'm like, Zach, I gotta stop the podcast or whatever. He's like, fine, that's good. So I do the phone call, I come back, and we continue to record. Well, if you were to edit that, you would want to cut that out. So you do a little cut. There's different ways to do it in all sorts of different programs. There's hotkeys for it. You can right click on it and cut. There's like a tool that you can do it in Premiere. But what you can do is cut out that part where I was having that phone call and then put the other two clips together. That way it seamlessly flows from one clip to another. And because you were able to cut out all that filler stuff, the video flows a lot faster. So cuts are basically the first important editing move that you want to master before anything. Like, if you know how to cut, you can get a lot of stuff done just based off that alone. And it's not even that hard at all. It's very easy to do.
I agree. And you mentioned something about like hotkeys and like right clicking and all that kind of stuff. Another very important thing that I would say from the very get-go when you start using your software, after you learn the layout, I would highly recommend learning hotkeys. So
Save you a lot of time.
a lot of people know the basics, like Control C is to copy and Control V is to paste. A lot of people know that kind of stuff, and those do transfer into most editing softwares. But if you can do things like, I know in Premiere I use the speed up hotkey a lot. I speed up and slow down the videos because when I'm watching a 40-minute video that I need to edit down to 10 minutes, I don't want to spend 40 minutes doing that. I want to spend 20 minutes. I can watch that back at half speed or at double speed, get through a hell of a lot quicker that way. So learn those hotkeys. Learn things like cutting. I don't even use my mouse for that. I use I actually have it set to my X key because I use Control and Z and other buttons near that. So a lot of these hotkeys are customizable, which is really nice because then you can also use something like a mouse and that have like macros on them.
Yeah, those are cool.
Mice that have extra keys, love that. A couple of my hotkeys are on my mouse, and it makes shit so much easier. So, highly recommend just spending a couple hours. I actually need to learn more hotkeys. I don't know everything about my software, and I should. But I got the basics. I got what I need down,
right?
Which is, what I'm pretty much need at the moment.
You learn what you have to have basically, but for everybody.
Right.
Cutting is just something you're gonna want. So
exactly.
That was the first thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. You learn these things. You learn a lot of things about editing when you need them. I know that a big part of editing is just knowing what you want to do with a video, the kind of like aesthetic side of things, and like sometimes all you need is a basic cut, and that's cool. But other times you want to try something new and wacky. But you have to have the idea of doing that first before you know how to do it, right?
I feel like a skill that I definitely need a lot more is being able to visualize stuff that I haven't edited yet. If you know what I mean, right? Like being able to imagine what I could do with this cut, because like for me, it's not a problem of learning it. It's a matter of like having the eye for it. I feel like a lot of people, the longer you do it, you get kind of a creative eye for things of like, oh, maybe I could do it this way. Or maybe you watch somebody's video and you're like, I wonder how they did that. Yep. Being creative like that, picking up on those little things, write it down. Like if you're watching a YouTuber and they do like a crazy cut or a transition or a weird effect that you've never seen before, write that shit down. Because I guarantee you, it'll help you a lot later if you want to try that for yourself. You can have a name to it. You can understand the effect. And I guarantee you, with YouTube, there's a tutorial on it somewhere, somehow.
Absolutely. No, I 90% of the things that I've learned, probably more than that, but that has to do with editing, I saw somebody like Game Theory do that in their video. I saw the Completionist do that in his... Like, it was somebody I watched, saw this thing, and I figured out how to do it. From there, because it's not a matter of knowing how to do it. It's most of that kind of stuff is pretty easy. It's just not a matter of, like you said, having the eye for it.
And that's something you'll gain over time. I don't expect anybody here who's new to it to be able to pick that shit out right away. But the more you do it, the more you're able to develop it. And it's practice. You work a muscle long enough, and it'll get better, right? You work editing long enough, you'll be able to understand how it works and what to do and all that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. That shit extra valuable. So back to cutting. You cut a lot of your filler stuff out. You cut all the things that you don't want. And you'll learn too that by doing this, when you actually start recording stuff again, you can help yourself out later in the edit and kind of like give your future self signals, as I like to call them, and be like, cut this part out, or wave your hands around so it's easy to see visually. You don't do that early on because you don't know what it's like to edit through that. But you start being kinder to yourself when you record things to kind of have the editor in mind for that sort of stuff. At least I do.
One of the things I
Go
like
ahead.
to look at when doing like basic cuts and stuff. I almost am strictly looking at the audio file
Yeah.
when I edit, like the rough cuts. I'm strictly looking at audio because I know that if there's dead air there, there's nothing important there unless it's for dramatic effect or whatever. But usually there's nothing important there, so I'm able to quickly get through those rough cuts that way just by looking at the audio file. So that's something that I would recommend if you once you like start getting into it a lot.
One issue that I had with cutting stuff in particular was, I don't know if you guys know this, but I like talking a fucking bunch. To the point where what should be a 10 or 20-minute video on a subject turns to 40 or 50 minutes.
Oh
It's
boy.
through the edit that I'm able to save that and make that salvageable. The problem I've had for the longest time is deciding what has to stay in and what needs to be cut. And I'm not talking about like dead air. I mean, like, I'm not going to let people sit through this 50-minute video of me talking. Some of my commentary has to go. And it's
Right. No,
so
for sure.
difficult for me to be able to make those decisions because, like, I think everything I say is valuable. I think all this information's great. I don't want to cut something and be like, have the video turn out for the worst. So I like go through my mind and I'm like, okay, what's the most important thing I have to keep in the video? What's on topic? What's on point? And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. And so what helps me is just to be able to be like, what do I absolutely need? What are the main points that hit the hardest? Throw in a couple of funny moments here and there, and then just kind of streamline it. But man, early days of Blue Couch Productions, that was a fucking struggle of knowing what to keep and what to cut.
I like that you brought this up because it's not even just like a problem with like, YouTube. This is like a thing that happens when films are being made.
Yeah.
Like learning how to cut and where to cut it's an art. It's something that you have to learn by doing more of it. And it's why when people make movies, like almost always the movie after everything's been recorded is like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's because certain shots are on the screen for too long, or maybe there's too much dialogue, or whatever it may be. But learning where to cut in anything it definitely takes a lot of experience. You're not going to figure it out on the first video, that's for sure.
It freaked me out hardcore for a while. So
Yeah.
I'm glad
And there's not a right way to do it either.
Yeah, right. Like,
right?
there's not a right cut or a wrong cut here. It's just like, artistically, what am I trying to do with this video, right? Like, knowing your vision, knowing what you're trying to do with it can help you a lot in those instances of being like, all right, why did I make this video in the first place? Getting down to those reasons helped me a lot with being able to figure out what needed to be cut and what could stay for longer. And then once multiple takes of stuff got involved, finding out which take I like more visually. Back to the video games, there's several takes of certain segments that get altered or changed because I like this one a little bit more in editing, even though I like the other one in recording. You know, stuff like that changes all the time. Another tip I have with editing in general is just like, be flexible with this stuff. Don't go into it thinking that you're going to have a hard outline plan with it, because so much shit happens when you put that stuff into the editing program, and by the time you render it, could be two different videos, depending on how it goes. You're going to need to be flexible, and you're going to need to be able to go with the flow and see what happens, right? Maybe the video you put into it is not the one you get out, and that's totally cool. That's totally fine. But don't be afraid of it, right? Be able to take that challenge on.
Right. I mean, some videos, the importance is the script, right? And some videos, the importance is the shot, the camera work. Some videos, the importance is the edit. And, I mean, there's... like, look at channels like PewDiePie, right? If this boy didn't edit his videos, he would have got nowhere. Right? Like, I mean, his charisma is there, and that's a very big important part of who he is. But it's like, especially his newer content, the reason it's so entertaining is because of the editing.
Yep.
And so, you know, like, there's been plenty of videos that I've made, and I've gotten done with the scripts. I'm like, man, I don't think this is gonna turn out well. And then I record it, and I'm like, man, I'm not happy with that at all. And then I get in the editing room, I'm able to do some wacky shit and make it funny, and it turns out to be one of my favorites.
I've saved several videos to the edit multiple times. Yeah. I've just gotten used to it at this point, but like, you know, some people will get too scared or thrown off or be like, this is not what I wanted. Like, feel free to change. You know, that's part of the fun of editing, is that you have, believe it or not, people think like editing is pretty boring and like intimidating and like it's not their favorite part of the process. If you handle it right, it could be the most like creatively fulfilling thing about making videos if you know what you're doing. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. Is the problem.
Right. Well, because a lot of people think that editing is just the rough cut part, right?
Right.
But it's like, I hate doing rough cuts. I hate it. It's the most boring shit. It's why I speed up the video while I'm editing. Because I hate listening to my dumb self sit in front of a camera talk about shit for 30 minutes. And it's like, I hate looking at all my mistakes, right? It's like, and it's boring. It's like, I'd rather be doing literally anything else. But when I get into the actual editing of the videos, it's super enjoyable. Sometimes. Most of the time, it's pretty enjoyable. And, like, usually, my biggest thing with Your Everyday Nerd lately has been, all right, can I get the rough cuts done on one specific day so that when I actually get into the video, I can enjoy myself and maybe even spend longer than I had planned on editing this video, so it's even better.
Right. Kind of splitting your rough cut day and your actual editing day is a good idea, I feel. It saves a lot of time and stress. And I think that's a good transition. We talked about how to rough cut, right? Maybe you did a little bit of audio editing too on the side. I'm not a great audio editor. Basically, if nothing's peaking or like really quiet, I'm okay with it for the most part. I know there's plenty more you could go into depth on that, but we're mainly focused on the video side of things. So you're done with the rough cut. You got all your filler out. You got pretty much the bare bone skeleton of the video, and that's what the rough cut is. It's the skeleton. It's what you're gonna build stuff on top of. Think of it like a cake, right? You got your main layer. Now it's time to add the icing and the fun shit that everybody likes. So now we're into the actual edit, the part that's a lot more fun and a lot more open with stuff. This is where you can add what I like to do. I like to get my borders here. I like to get my background music here, figure out which tracks I want, deal with audio leveling stuff here, and then most fun, the image editing, dealing with the green screen. What weird effects can I do with this? What if I oversaturate this? What if I zoom in on my face here? Those kind of things, that's the stuff you live for in the editing room. And that's the part I want to kind of transition into now.
Yeah, and I'll say just briefly, if you're doing, I know I used to do this, that's why I'm mentioning it. I used to not do rough cuts and then just like edit the entire thing chronologically, put in the music while I'm editing the rough cut part, like not optimized.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
It takes way too much time. Don't do it that way, please.
I would highly recommend doing a rough cut first. That's just something that I think is important.
And it may sound longer, like you're doing 2 cuts of it. I guarantee you it'll be way faster if you do it that way. It may sound like it takes longer, but it doesn't whatsoever. And it'll save your video multiple times. Because then if you have to go like change anything, it's a lot easier to do than having to like go back and mess with all your minuscule edits that you made in the first 3 minutes of shit. Like, yeah. Absolutely agree here. So, as far as the actual edit's concerned, this is where you want to add your other tracks. So, you have all your other footage that you wanted, B-roll and stuff like that in your thing, and now you're going to put it in your timeline, kind of separate each of those tracks off. Like, I have all my PNGs in one track, I have my background music in another track, unless they're different audio levels, and then I switch them or move them around. My border is in another track, and so I have all these video and audio tracks kind of organized in such a way that it's built on top of the main video track. You want to have your main video and audio like close to the bottom, because the way sort of timelines work, if a track is above it, then that image is going to be above that video. It's kind of hard to explain when I can't show it, but let's say you have a video on your bottom track and you wanted to put an image over it. Well, you make a new track, you put it above the video, and then you have your image. If you put it under it, it won't show up. So that took me a little bit of time to learn. as well.
Yeah, my timelines are a lot messier.
Mm-hmm.
I usually, after I got my rough cut done, I usually just go back to the beginning of the video, put in all the like regular stuff that is in every single one of my videos, my intro, my outro, any of that kind of good shit, and then I start from the beginning at that point, and just start watching it and figure out where I want to do zooms, figure out when I want to do any other kind of interesting edits that might make for comedic or important effect or whatever. Make it, try not to make the video boring. And while I'm doing that, then I start getting images that I might need or video clips that I might need. And so I'm not super prepared like I should be when I go into most edits, but that's also because I turn around videos fairly quickly. So I try to, I usually do a lot of that in the editing room, getting my clips together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Quick tip as far as intros and outros are concerned. Go ahead and edit and render those before you do like an episode. That way you can just drag that file in and you don't have to have like a bunch of little pieces that you got to construct every single time to make sure the timing is right and everything.
Holy shit.
Just do that beforehand. You'll be fine. Any like main pieces that you have for like every episode, if you could somehow find a way to like edit those down into like littler bits, like one thing rather than a bunch of different parts, that would be really cool. It'll save you.
You can do that. Some software, I know that Premiere does this. I can open up a second file, like episode 68 of Your Everyday Nerd. I can open that up and then put all the essential stuff into that one. Yeah. Well, actually, what I do, I have like a default file for Your Everyday Nerd. It's got all the intro and outros, the Patreon stuff, everything that I might need for an episode that's not the main shit. And I open that up first and then save it as the new episode name and then drag all my new shit into it.
I do that a lot with Back to the Video Games. A lot of time.
Yeah.
Definitely
a
fair
little
warning.
Pro tip.
Yeah. Just a fair warning. The first episode of any series is going to take the longest to edit because you're kind of... Format is something that a lot of people... Like, yeah, you can record format, but a lot of what happens as far as pacing and stuff is mainly down to the edit more than it is, like, recording it. And so, like, figuring out the flow of your video in the editing thing is what makes the first episode the longest to edit. The good news is, once you edit that first video and you kind of have this timeline and skeleton all together, it's so easy to just go into episode 2 and use episode 1's file to sort of work off of. Saves me a lot of time with Back to the Video Games, for sure.
Agreed. No, 100%. Like I said, and like with all my client work, I usually have pieces that I need for certain videos that are going to be the same. So having, just pulling up the last file and dragging and dropping in there, if your software allows that, definitely is helpful.
Yeah, I like having multiple monitors to where like I'll have Google Images up on one, so I'll just save an image and then drag it in for whatever I need it. Maybe it's like a Pokemon PNG or a Smash Brothers character. I have YouTube video downloader, so if I need a specific video clip, I just drop the link in there, it downloads it, and then I put it in my editing software and cut out the bit that I need. If I'm referencing an old Blue Couch Productions video, same thing there. I have a lot of tools so that if I do need extra things, I can get to them fairly quickly and add them without taking a ton of time away from the edit. And I guess that's another like hardware thing. If you have multiple monitors, fucking take advantage of that shit. It is so helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful.
I would argue that, especially if you're getting super into editing, and you're doing it frequently, that a double monitor setup, or even the Mad Lads with the triple monitor, I would love to get a triple monitor set up soon. I think it's a good investment. You can even get like an extra TV that's like $20 at a yard sale or something. As long as it has an HDMI port, you're usually able to put it in there. Yeah. But like, don't go out on these expensive, monitors or anything. Just figure out something that works.
I have 2 monitors and a TV, one of which is an old VGA monitor. The other one's a new HDMI one. And then the TV is just straight HDMI, and then I use all 3 of them together because my graphics card allows that. I can do all three at the same time, and it's very nice because like not only do I have room for all my stuff, but I can make my preview screen. Remember that preview screen we talked about earlier? You can pop it out and turn it into like its own little window or whatever. So let's say I want to know how my video looks like on the big TV. I can just pop it out, watch the preview screen on the TV, and still see my editing track on the other monitor. Makes things so much easier. You get a preview monitor, you get your editing monitor, and then you have like your images or Discord monitor. That's typically why I have the other one for. So I can keep track of stuff. But the more screen real estate you have, the better. If you have a TV, be sure to turn sharpness down or put it at its neutral state, because if you're staring at it for long enough, sharpness will fuck with your eyes. Make sure the colors are neutral.
True. Yeah.
Make sure you get your TV settings down first before you start using it as a computer monitor. But no, once you get it all figured out, it's wonderful. I can't imagine life without it.
I agree. Yeah, I can't do I mean, I have a laptop that I use for editing every once in a while, but like, man, does it suck not having a double monitor for that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because, like, some of the videos that I work with, I have, like, dozens of files, and I need to go find all this shit, and it's having that, like you said, the extra screen real estate, it's definitely helpful.
I agree. Wholeheartedly.
But it's not something you need. It's absolutely not something you need.
Again, I did it off the laptop for a long time. That sucked, but I like where I'm at now. A lot of this was hand-me-down stuff, too. None of these monitors, except for one, I actually bought. They like came from a old workplace that didn't need them anymore, or like my brother had one, or whatever. It was just making sure my computer could handle it was the expensive part. Which is why
pro tip, if you have a laptop and you're like, oh man, I really wish I could have a double monitor setup, but it's a laptop, lol. You can use a HDMI cable or a VGA cable, depending on the laptop, and totally turn that, like plug that into a TV or a monitor.
Yep. Gives you more space, too. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I did that with a laptop for a few years.
It's pretty effing cool. All right. So now I want to get into some other moves that I use. Again, nothing crazy. I want to briefly go ahead and explain how I zoom in on things in Vegas. So I have Vegas pulled up on my thing, for example. So I'm going to import my image of AdenWaves.png into my ye old track. And let's say I want to zoom in on the wave or whatever. So there's a ye old crop thing, a little crop tab you can click on in Vegas. Again, not speaking for Premiere or anything. And then you have this little box here that shows up, and there's just like 4 white squares. You can drag these squares, and you can fucking zoom in on an image. And you're like, wow. And you go to your preview, and you're like, wow, it's actually zoomed in. And then maybe like you want to save that zoom preset for later to save yourself some time because you know you're going to be needing that zoom. There's a little preset tab at the top. You type in whatever name of the preset you want, save it, and then you can get that like zoom in every time. That way you don't have to fiddle with the links as long as you record it the same way. It's perfect. So now the whole thing is zoomed in. I use this all the time for like, let's say my text is too small and I need it to be big, or let's say I want to zoom into like a tiny part of footage or zoom in on my face. I go into crop, get the zoom that I want, save the preset, and then never have to deal with it ever again. And I can get these nice zooms that I need for whenever. And then like sometimes if I don't want to do the whole animation side of things, I'll just cut out the clip that I want to zoom in on, just cut that part, and then put the zoom in on that and keep the rest of it normal. And then you're done. You don't even have to animate anything at all whatsoever. So learning how to zoom in, pretty important thing to do. Not terribly hard either, at least in Vegas.
Yeah, it's not hard in Premiere either, but I'll go a little bit more generic on the advice here, and not necessarily like very specific on how to do it in Premiere, because like you can look up tutorials, right?
Sure.
But I'll say you made a really good point. Fucking presets, man.
Yeah, godsend.
Holy shit. I have presets for almost everything. I have like a lot of the zoom in stuff that I do. It's usually still jump cuts, and what that means is that there's not any kind of like specific effects. It's not like a slow zoom in or anything. If I do a slow zoom in, I'll usually do that manually because I want to make sure it's specific. But I have like a preset for the video to be at 110% scale. So it's not like, 100% scale is the size that it is when you put it into the video. 110% would just be a little bit bigger. But I have presets for like 100, 110, 75, 120, like all these generic ass sizes, because I know I'm going to use that a lot for both myself and for clients. And I can just like drag that onto the footage and it makes it super easy and quick. And so zoom ins take practically no time, which is really nice.
I agree. One of the cool things I liked about Camtasia Studio a lot was if you wanted to do a zoom in, you could literally click on the preview screen and fucking drag it in there. So like, oh, I want to zoom in on this thing. Click on it manually, fucking drag it on the little preview screen, and then you're done. And if you're like a visual learner, like that shit was super helpful for me to be like, oh, okay, I could do that. And then once I transitioned into Vegas, figuring out how to do it there took a little bit of time. But that was something cool I remember about Camtasia Studio.
Yeah, I mean, Premiere does, it's got the keyframes and it's got a bunch of numbers. Yeah. And so it was the weirdest shit for me to go from Camtasia where, like you said, you're just dragging the clip on the timeline to fucking numbers. I was like, how do you do this?
How do you do this shit?
I think a lot of software uses numbers now.
Yeah.
Which is really nice so just to like break it down really quickly, you'll have numbers for how big the video is, like the scale. You'll have numbers for what position it is on the timeline, so moving it left, right, up, and down. There's a 3D effect that you can use on some software. There's rotation, that's its own little number. All these different things have their own little numbers, and this just goes back to like learning the layout, right?
I agree.
Once you learn the layout, you'll usually be able to figure everything out.
Oh, and by the way, all the stuff that I said for zoom in, if you wanted to zoom out, all you would have to do is take those little white squares and just move it further away from you, so you can make things smaller that way as well. Let's say I was in front of a green screen and I filmed it and added the green screen effect and I wanted to make like a tiny me or whatever. And go into that little zoom out, zoom all the way out, and now it's like a tiny little Aden over there. It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Obviously my feet are cut off, but I don't know. Maybe put me in a jar or something. But whatever. I don't know. You're making the video, not me, Chief. I don't fucking... However you want to do it. But yeah, the same is true for zoom outs. Just the reverse.
Yeah. But when it comes to editing, there are a lot of different effects and transitions and all that kind of stuff that are built into a lot of these programs.
I still use
some
them.
of these. Same. Some of these you can do manually. Some of these you can use just drag and drop them onto the video. There are certain effects that I use pretty much in every video. There are some of them that are on a case-by-case basis. Again, I think go through them, learn them, figure out which ones you want to use, and just experiment with it. I've taken like a day or two to just like go through all the effects and transitions and figure out what they all are.
What are the most common ones you use? Just for the people.
I use, whenever I want to like fade in and fade out to different clips, I use crossfade. That's very helpful. Just makes a nice little transition. I use drop shadow on text, so that's an effect. I use regular transitions like fade to black, fade to white. I use that every once in a while. But if I'm honest, I don't think I use effects nearly as much as I could. I think a lot of it is for super basic stuff, and going back to the presets tip, a lot of that you can put on there and then manually figure out exactly how you want it to be, and then
save it.
Save that as a preset. Yeah,
I agree. The ones I use the most is The chroma here on Vegas is fine for like basic green screens, but for mine I need something a little bit more advanced. So instead of that, I go to color corrector secondary, and I'm able to get the green screen effect that I want after a lot of fiddling around. I have basically, like, if I film a Back to the Video Games thing, I have an exact preset for the green screen every time to make sure you don't see green or fuzz or weird shit. So I like took a day just to make that preset and have it there. So yeah, color corrector secondary. I also use regular color corrector. I tend to lean more toward like yellow warmer colors because for whatever reason I look blue and cold in a lot of stuff. So yellow is something that I add to sort of offset that. Cookie cutter, it's fun. I can make circles out of that. So if I have an image that needs to be a circle, I can do that. That's partially how the Get Dusted DW video was made.
Nice.
Sharpen. I use a light sharpen for videos because sometimes the focus just needs like a little bit of sharpening. And I don't recommend like doing it a lot because it makes it look ugly. Just like a tiny little bit does all that you need. There's a good white balance one. The TV simulator kind of helped with the TV look when I was making the intro for that. Gaussian blur is fantastic.
I use Gaussian blur a lot, yeah.
Smart zoom, all that sort of stuff. And then as far as transitions, probably just like the zoom ones and like the fly-ins and fly-outs. I sometimes use those transitions as animations for PNGs. Like the Charlie Brown video, most of those were transitions, which are pretty easy to do. And then like text, you can add text through there. Early days in Blue Couch Productions, I did all the text manually, either on GIMP or through Cool Text, not knowing that you could do that shit in Vegas.
Yeah, that's awful.
That wasted.
I've been there though.
So much time. I figured out, oh hey, Vegas has literally all the fonts that I installed on GIMP. I can just make it here. And you can do drop shadow. What the fuck? Like, I was on board.
And you can do drop shadow?
You can do drop shadow. Sure. You can resize it. You can do all your different fonts. Saves you a ton of time. Rather than having to make text assets through Cool Text or GIMP, do that shit in your editor. It'll look good.
Yeah, for sure. The most important thing, again, here is learn which ones you're planning on using the most. Experiment with them. Figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then if you can, go ahead and make presets for these bitches, especially for the ones that you're using often, because that'll save you a lot of time.
It will help you a ton. And in Vegas, you can also see what effects you have dragged on to it. And so if you're wondering why something looks wrong, you can just look at each effect and check mark them to see like which one's causing problems. So if like something's an issue, I can easily like go back and find out what happened. Something I do a lot in editing is the undo and the redo thing. Those top two arrows a lot. Like, does this look better? Yeah. Does that look better? Let me see both cuts back to back. Undo, redo,
Control
undo, redo.
Z, my boy.
LZ.
Control Z.
I'm not good with the shortcuts.
Control Z. It's good. It's good. I use it all the time. Because sometimes you make a mistake and you need to redo it. Or, go back. Control Z is where it's at.
You right.
But, yeah. That shit's good. Again, a lot of these little edits and effects and stuff like that, you might not have a name for it. And it's when you're watching other creators, you kind of see a thing that you like, and then you figure out what that thing is, and your editing becomes better. And honestly, a lot of my editing has just gotten better just from watching other people, watching movies more in depth, watching TV shows more in depth, and just kind of figuring out these things to make your videos better.
Build that creative muscle, right? Videos, believe it or not, are a lot about visuals. And so finding ways to visually present your ideas and concepts in unique and interesting ways is like half the fun of editing. And it's crucial, too, because there are so many videos on YouTube where it's just a guy in front of a camera, uncut, like 30 minutes long, talking about something. And then they wonder why their video didn't do well. Like, you got to make that visually interesting for the people at home. Cut out the bad stuff, add in an intro and outro, spice it up a little bit, get different shots, record some B-roll, transition it in, mess with the colors. Like, a little bit of editing can save the majority of these 30-minute bore fests, and it doesn't even take that much work.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And now I will say, you said a little bit of editing, and I think a little bit is important there, because sometimes less is more.
I agree, yeah.
Some people go way too far with the editing. They add too many transitions that don't work together. They add too many effects that don't work together. And it ends up just being this clusterfuck of a video compared to... It's an art. Again, it definitely is an art. It takes time. You'll learn what works and what doesn't work the more videos you make. And this is just another one of those where it's like, less is more.
Yeah. We're just trying to help you not fall into one of those two extremes where not enough editing is a bad thing and too much editing is a bad thing. Figuring out what your needs are for each video will kind of help you sort of find that balance in that middle line. Like, does all this need is a few cuts? Okay, that's fine. Does it need something else? That might take a little bit more time, and that's fine. Editing didn't happen overnight. It does now for me, but in the early days, that shit took days. It took weeks sometimes to get a project looking and feeling how I wanted it to. But that came with, like, learning things. That came with having a creative eye. That came from wanting to challenge myself. And I made mistakes along the way. I've gotten several comments that, like, there's too many pictures here. There's too much visual nonsense here. The pacing's bad. The framing's bad. Like, I fucked up a lot to get to the pacing that I want to have in Back to the Video Games episode 4. So it didn't happen overnight. It was a learning process of figuring out the balance that I need for my channel to edit, to make the videos that I want to make. And I'm still adding new stuff and learning all the time.
Same. Absolutely the same. One of the things that I really like about editing other people's shit is that I learn a lot through it. So there's things that I've learned that I didn't know I could do through doing a vlogging channel's video or a tech video compared to the type of content that I already make. And, you know, it's either this particular type of content needed this thing, or this particular thing needed to be there because the creator of the video said, yo, I need you to make sure that this is done. And I'm like, okay, I can do it. And sometimes I don't know how the fuck to do it, so I have to go learn how to do it so I can, you know, get paid.
Learning on the job.
But it's cool. It's fun because then if it's something that's easily transferable to other content, then I can take that technique and put it in my video every once in a while.
Yeah.
Or make it a part of the content. Who knows?
And that's a cool thing about, like, being in this community in particular, especially with all the different types of content we make. Like, I learn stuff from you guys all the time. I'll watch your Everyday Nerd and be like, oh, how did he do that? Or I'll watch Parker do, like, heavy editing on a Let's Play of all things and be like, oh, I see what you did there. Like, that's creative. That's innovative. Like, Jay will do stuff all the time like that. Kyle's getting better about it day in and day out. Fucking Cowfro edited a beautiful, like, Splatoon video. And that's nothing but cuts, right? But, like, the cuts he chose were good ones. And he had an eye and a practice for it to be able to master. Like, I've gotten so much inspiration from our community and how they edit. I can kind of picture each other's styles and how we do things differently. It's fun.
Same. Absolutely same. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I'll say that the last thing that's important about editing is the part that sometimes takes the longest, and that's the rendering.
Yep.
So, before you even get your first video done, take a look at the rendering settings, figure out how that works, because I know first getting started, especially in Premiere Pro, I had to learn which format the video was supposed to be in, and I had to go through all of that. And again, we won't talk about all that here because it's just boring and not important enough for us to like mention specifics. But figure out how your video is gonna render out as, and then figure out how long that shit's gonna take. Because depending on the video, depending on how much you've done in the editing, depending on how long the video is, it can take hours, sometimes a day. And so keeping that in mind, again, this is where like having a better computer definitely helps out. This is where knowing your software definitely helps out. Because I know for me, after I did my upgrading on my PC, I can render a 4K video that's 30 minutes long in about an hour. Had I done this on my old PC, I don't even know if I could have rendered that video. You know, it's that, because it takes that long sometimes.
Right. It really does. I'll just mention like a couple of like really important things. 'Cause I'm not going to bore you with all this stuff, and I know it's different from thing to thing. As far as video is concerned, whatever the resolution of your video is kind of what you want to render it at. I know you can like render it higher or lower. For this, basically, just stay with whatever you recorded it at. So, recorded it at 1920 by 1080, render it out as 1920 by 1080. Frame rate, 30 seconds or whatever the closest is. If you want to do 60, that's fine. YouTube will probably fuck it up. Field order, none. Pixel aspect ratio, 1. Bitrate, 16,000 is fine. Audio, make sure it's stereo. And this is the part that's really important. There's a video rendering quality tab, and for whatever reason, they'll just have like good or preview or draft. Make sure that's the highest you can reasonably do. In my case, it's best. Had it not been that, it would have looked a lot worse. And then once I had this template done, save it. Save it, favorite it, do whatever you have, so that now, anytime I go to render a video, it's just, oh, there's my little preset, click, render, done. But I got all of my stuff
presets
from other videos too, and I made sure my project settings matched that as well. I guess another tip about like rendering stuff in general is if you have like a bigger project that you know is going to take a while to render, like get that all done at night, hit render, and then go to bed. It'll be done in the morning.
Yeah, one of the things I like to do, I used to do this a lot when I made personal Let's Plays, and I would render like 20 videos at a time. I know with Adobe Premiere, you got the media encoder, which allows you to render videos, multiple videos at a time. So doing that, if it's possible, it's highly recommended if you're doing any kind of batch editing, batch recording, any of that. But a lot of people complain about rendering. And, like, I kind of get it, because, like, yeah, that's time boring. You don't get to use your computer, and it's boring and whatever. But honestly, it's like, man, if you just do that while you're sleeping, it won't even matter.
Better yet, like, go get some food. Take a break.
Yeah, take that time to have a break, because chances are you're just going to use your computer to do... You're either fucking exhausted, or you're just going to use your computer to play a video game or something when you could have just gone to bed or taken a shower or got you some food or, you know.
It's a great time to kind of step away from it after a while, which everybody needs that time. Editing is, like, intensive.
Agreed.
It's very labor intensive. Once you're finally done with it and you've hit the render button, it's like a sigh of relief, like, the hard part's over. I just gotta click a couple of buttons, upload it, you're done. All right. It's easy.
Unless you're a freelance editor where
LOL.
you have like 5 videos to do that day, and you're like, well, that's one. And I can't even take a step back anymore, because I upgraded my computer to have enough RAM and shit where it's like, this video is going to be done in 10 minutes. I can go ahead and get the next video ready.
Yeah. You can work on thumbnail stuff. You could work on your tags.
Yeah. I do thumbnails during renderings.
Talk on Discord.
Talk on Discord. Things. Bullshit around. Yeah.
Fuck around.
Sure.
Do a podcast.
Yeah.
Record your solo podcast during rendering times. You want an excuse to do a solo podcast? There you go. Call it like Behind the Render. Or whatever.
Behind the Render. There you go. There's an idea. That's actually pretty good.
That is free. Take that. Run with it.
Just call it rendering time.
Rendering time. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
So, we went through putting your files in, rough cut, main cut, rendering. Once it's done rendering, you upload that bad boy to YouTube, get your title, tags, all that stuff that we've talked about in a previous episode, and your video's done. Find a place to put that video in storage somewhere, preferably with the other ones. Don't have that shit like separated over multiple folders, ideally.
Yeah.
Things can go other ways, obviously. And then, like, learn along the way. That's the most important part. Like, a lot of this stuff is going to happen over time, and you'll become a better editor over time. The main message of this video, more than anything, is just, like, practice and learn. That's how you're going to get good at editing more than anything. Like, we've set some groundwork for you. We've set some foundation for you. Now it's time for you to go do the homework, right? You're the only one that's going to be able to learn how to edit. You can watch as many videos as you want in the world, get as much help as you need, listen to us talk about a bunch of different topics. Ultimately, you got to be the one to step forward and be like, all right, let's fucking learn how to do this. And I know it can be intimidating and scary and hard. Push through it, man. You'll make it. You'll make it.
Agreed. I will say one last thing that I can think of with the whole editing thing is it might be best, especially if you're just starting out, to watch that video back before you upload it.
Because chances are you done fucked up.
Well, and I would argue that after you get done with a video, you should be done with that video. After you've hit the render, be done with it. Don't try to be perfect about it. If there's a little mistake, don't even worry about it. Upload it. But like sometimes the editing software fucks up and it doesn't render it properly, and so you end up having like an entire video that didn't show up in the thing, or an entire background that you had that's important for a client, and it happens for 5 fucking videos because Adobe doesn't make any sense. And sorry.
Yeah, be persistent.
Yeah.
Be persistent on that shit.
Check back on videos every once in a while. Make sure things are working properly.
Yeah.
And depending on your content, get prepared to do a revision, because if it's got copyrighted material in it, sometimes that video might get taken down. So be prepared that might be a thing.
Yep. Knowing how much video you have to have, how much music, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And if you're trying to get in the freelance world, that's another thing. Be prepared. Don't turn in that video and think that that's going to be the final thing, because every once in a while, or even more often than not, there's usually something that a client will want different. And you got to be prepared to go back in there, fix up a couple of things, and then re-render it and send it back out.
Yep.
But yeah.
I agree.
That's editing in a nutshell, everybody.
Pretty much.
Graduated from the class.
Yeah. You're now a master editor. Go flex to all your friends.
Go flex.
But be sure to share this podcast with your friends as well. Like, flex on them. Exactly. And then tell them where to go. All right, that's the important part.
Exactly. You know?
We need that watch time.
We want to help everybody here. Oh, yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah.
More
important than helping
not to help them.
Is watch time.
Watch time. Absolutely.
That was surprisingly easy. I thought that would have been a lot harder, but we did. We covered a lot of stuff. So
I think so. I think a lot of important stuff too.
I am proud.
That's epic. I'm hype. So I think we get into our comments now.
Comment time.
Yeah, boy.
Time to read comments from how many episodes? Just one?
Just the last one, yeah.
Okay. Let me head to the ye old comment section.
Ye old comment section. All right. I'll go ahead and read one of the comments. And that is from a master. And he says a little LOL funny joke.
Mm-hmm.
He says, how to deal with the internet? Expose everyone. XD. I chuckled, man.
You did? I didn't hear a chuckle. Yeah. But, there you go. That was it.
There it is. That's chuckle.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to let you read the Cowfro comment, and I'll read the patient one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cowfro says a couple things, actually. He says, every Sunday except when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what he's referring to there, so we'll just ignore it.
Yeah, no idea. Weird.
At 4:30:05, he says, "Excellent point. By the way, everyone I follow follows Keemstain as well. I feel compelled to talk shit when he shows up on my Twitter feed."
Well, that's what we did today, pretty much. So
we did that. I think he'll be proud. I think Calfro's
he'll be proud of us. Yeah, we did good, Calfro. Yeah.
Talking shit about Keemstain. I followed him for a little while just because I was genuinely interested in like what this dude was about. And then a few months ago, I unfollowed him because I was tired of seeing negativity on my timeline. And he also says at 48:47, he said, "What can I say? It's good to be diverse. Great foot episode, guys. Maybe don't do another foot episode, guys."
Well, had our first cut went through, this whole episode would have been about feet. But unfortunately, it got lost to the sands of time. So sorry about that, Cal.
It is unfortunate. Also, he enjoyed the comment that you made about, like, we were talking about cursing and stuff, and he said, and you said, or you could just be Calfro. And he enjoyed that. He told me personally. So
yeah. I thought of him at the time. I'm like, wait a minute. Just be Calfro.
Yeah.
Do it that way. Well, thank you for all the comments, Calfro and Master. Appreciate reading them, as always. Now, everybody strap in. Grab something to drink. Maybe make yourself a sandwich. This would be a while.
I'm gonna order Taco Bell while you read this.
Oh boy, yeah. The order might get to you by the time I'm done reading it, perhaps.
You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leah, patient, longtime fan, wrote us a novel. It's been a while since a patient novel, actually. We haven't had a few recently. And she came back real big. Damn. She came so hard. Big. She came hard.
Do you want to take turns, or you just gotta read the whole thing?
I'll try. If I get like halfway through and I need your help, we'll tag off. But I think I got it. All right, bet. She starts off by saying, "Welcome to another YouTube podcast where we spend over an hour not talking about the subject. Kexty, pre-warning you, this comment's fucking massive." She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Jeez. Holy shit.
Next, I wonder how Aiden knows I've been rewatching every upload on the NBL channel. NBL Season 3, baby. Get hyped this summer. Fuck it.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready. Next, she says, "I'm mostly going to be talking about how to handle callouts by commentary channels or people giving you a lot of criticism for a YouTube comment, etc. Dealing with this stuff from family is a completely different issue and is considerably more emotionally charged. That stuff deserves its own Bible, and I won't be talking about that here." So this is actually a shortened comment then. We could add like a twice as long one.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's hilarious. Okay, here she goes. I've actually seen a lot of beef around your client. I have my own opinions on that, and I ain't going to get into them. But But I want to know that he hasn't dealt with it in a good or effective way. Clapping back on Twitter is not an effective way of dealing with drama. If anything, it fuels the fire against you, as tempting as it is. One of my favorite commentary channels, The Right Opinion, very high production value and really interesting content compared to most commentary channels, by the way, talks about this a lot. You can get in drama easily. Getting out of it is the hard part. The response is what will get you out of the situation, and not many channels handle it well. First, identifying criticisms people have without dismissing them is imperative. Acknowledge these criticisms and don't take them as a personal attack, unless it's blatantly obvious, like use common sense. Don't gloss over any of them. Shoving it under the rug will again provide people with more ammunition to use against you. The next big thing is truthfully covering every aspect of these criticisms. If someone has accused you of something that isn't true, get the facts there. Provide evidence if possible. If you've done the thing people are calling you out for, acknowledge, admit, and show remorse. If you want people to get off your ass, especially commentary channels, admitting you made a mistake, providing you've actually made one, is a crucial aspect. The biggest thing is to treat your critics with respect. And keep in mind, there's a big differentiation between random angry cunts and providing actual criticism no matter how much it hurts you to hear. Lot to unpack there. There's so much to unpack.
Yeah.
What do you think?
A lot. Holy shit.
What do you think?
So, I am curious about her opinions on the topic, but I'll leave that for like a private discussion because I don't want to talk about that here.
She didn't get personal, thankfully. I appreciate that.
Right, which I appreciate as well. Yeah. I do agree. I mean, I absolutely agree. I think that if you have made mistakes that people are calling you out on, like it's quite obvious that you need to own up to those mistakes like a big boy.
Yeah.
And, try to move forward from that. I still do believe that there are people, community or commentary channels or drama channels specifically, because commentary channel kind of opens up to a lot of different topics. Drama channels, which do exist, I think are ridiculous. I honestly do. I think that they just try to talk about everybody and attack everybody, and it's not something that I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a weird situation, because if a drama channel who's used to talking shit about everybody talk shit about you, it's like, how much time do you give that person?
All right.
That's what I wonder. I feel like it's like a bully in high school again, or a bully in middle school. It's just somebody that you should probably ignore if possible.
Well, there definitely is a difference between a Keemstar and an H3H3 or iDubbbz type character.
Right.
Like,
right.
They're both gonna call you out for something. Both Keemstar, it's very much malicious, and it's very much to boost his own ego. Whereas an H3 and an iDubbbz thing, it's an excuse for comedy. And, you know, they're not actively calling you a horrible person. That kind of helps, too.
It does.
There's a smart way to goof on people and to call them out for their own shit. There's almost an art to it, I think. We here in the Discord, like, have a pretty simple policy. Like, be honest about, you know, whatever it is, and we'll work with you. You know, we're not unreasonable people. Like, if we have a problem with each other, like, we'll just tell each other, honestly, right? There's not a need to hide that shit or to turn it into some Twitter beef. Like, I'll go to you personally. Fuck it. Like, you know, if I have an issue, we can talk it out. We're reasonable people, right? A lot of people aren't fucking reasonable is the problem. Or over-dramatized or overhyped stuff that doesn't need attention brought to it, frankly. You know, like if a family member died or it's a personal dispute, it's a personal dispute. And as much as, like, the public wants to know, we don't have a right to know in some cases. It's like the whole Game Grumps thing. Like, they split on their own terms. Obviously something happened. They've admitted something happened. But they're not going to tell us because it's a personal issue. Same with Gerard and Greg. Same with all these little big high-profile splits. Like, as much as people want to get into all that shit, it's not our fucking business to deal with. And so, like, if it doesn't concern me or concern people close to me or a friend of mine, most of the time I just don't care. And it's easy for me to shake it off. But, like, it's a lot harder when it's you under the spotlight for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue is these kind of mobs of people that blindly follow creators, right? And that's a whole nother topic that we could get into in another episode. But it's like, I don't want a group of people to blindly follow me.
Yeah.
If I make a mistake, call me out on my shit, right?
Same.
I'm a big boy. I can take it. If there's a criticism that you have of my content or who I am, go for it. If I feel like it's warranted and I feel like I can improve on it, then I will do so, right? But it's like the issue that I have is when you're one creator, one person. Let's not even talk YouTube terms. Let's just talk people here. You're one person who tells a lot of other people about somebody else, and then all those people blindly follow you to go attack somebody else.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of doing it from a place of hatred either. I think intentions are a big part of it as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, with my particular client situation, and again, I won't get too specific here. Like, there were multiple people, like hundreds of people, just telling him to quit his channel and quit YouTube and quit his community, like quit doing what he was doing in general. And I think that that's just ridiculous. I honestly do. That there was I felt like there was no constructive criticism in this situation. And to take it out of that situation, I feel like that happens a lot. Yeah. Both on YouTube and with,
real life.
Again, regular people. Yeah.
Real life, yeah. All right. Back to the comment.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the comment here. She says, even if you do those crucial things, there will still be people on your ass. It's impossible to please everyone. Learning to differentiate between pointless insults and actual constructive criticism is imperative to creating anything in any environment. I see too many people who just say, quote, block the haters, and ignore any criticism no matter how constructive or truthful. That is not a good way to go about life whatsoever. You'll never learn anything doing that, and eventually someone will hit you too hard with a big fuck off truth bomb or something, and it'll break you because you never learned to front it out. Playing it off as jealousy or meaningless hate is not good whatsoever. I've always said living in a world of only positivity and locking out any negativity is harmful to you. There's a huge differentiation between angry twats, that's a funny word, and people criticizing you, even if it hurts to hear. People online need to learn the difference. So many people just don't and refuse to even attempt to learn it.
Agreed.
Probably my favorite line. I've always said living in a world of only positivity and locking out any negativity is harmful to you. Negativity fucking matters. That shit's important. And how you deal with it and how you process it is huge as well. Part of my 3-year depression was just because I couldn't process my own feelings about the issue and share with other people. And I thought, fuck it, it'll get better, right? I'll just stay positive. I'll stay a happy face. I'll work through it. No, I needed fucking help.
Relatable.
Clearly I can't deal with it on my own, right? So that's absolutely true. As important as positivity is, and we try to preach it a lot of the time, knowing how to deal with negativity is just as important. But people don't deal with it right, and that's the problem.
For sure. And I think the other thing is there's a problem on both sides of this equation. Some people just don't know how to deal with negativity, and some people just don't know how to give constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And that's a problem on both fronts. There are too many people who try to be constructive, but it's really not constructive criticism. It's just putting somebody down, telling them to quit their channel, whatever it may be. And there's too many people that think everything is hate, and that's just not the case. Some people just genuinely want to see another person improve.
Yeah.
So it's a balance. It's something that you gotta learn by living life. It really is.
True.
That's what it comes down to. I think, what the biggest way to make sure that this isn't a big issue for you is do your best to become self-aware.
Yeah. Knowing your own faults before people call you out on them is a blessing in disguise. That shit'll help you so much.
It's I know probably 99% of what's wrong with me as a person and as a content creator and as all these things. I know what I'm confident about and I know what I'm not confident about. And I know that I'm actively improving on a lot of things about me. And there are some things that I'm going to need my friends and my family and my viewers to call me out on to improve. Just because I'm not that self-aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's I feel confident that a lot of the things that I need to improve on, I'm actively working towards.
Which is good.
And
that's always a good thing.
I strive. Yeah, I hope that everybody can get to that kind of point.
That's basically what I'm doing in therapy.
Yeah.
So, there you go. All right, next paragraph. Obviously, if people are making violent threats, just insulting you, unless you're a nonce, then I think that's probably passable. Or using aspects like gender, skin color, sexuality, etc. to attack you, don't feed them. Those people cannot be reasoned with whatsoever, so the obvious solution is to block or mute notifications, etc., for that. The bigger issue here is trying to deal with widespread misinformation. The best you can do is deny it and attempt to provide any proof you can that debunks it. Here's the thing that I want to point out on. Patient has brought up this idea of providing evidence and being sure that you have enough facts and providing proof and debunking a lot of that stuff. Is it just me or is that harder to do in an online era? I feel
it doesn't matter.
You think? I feel so many people are so skeptical with yeah, you showed me this Discord conversation, but how do I know you didn't fabricate it? Or
Yep.
It's how do I know? How do I know the evidence you're providing isn't fucking wrong? Right? Or it's an attempt to make yourself look better.
I think we talked about misinformation last episode, or this particular episode that she's commenting on, and it's still one of those things, especially seeing this drama play out with my client this past week. It's insane how little that matters. If people want to believe what they want to believe, they'll believe it.
That's true.
I don't know what the solution there is. There's this thing called negative bias, and positive bias, where it's like, if you know somebody, like I know you, Aiden,
Right.
like, pretty well enough after talking to you for like literally hundreds of hours for this dumb podcast, right? Like, it's like we've gotten to know each other pretty well through the last couple of years, and if somebody came out and said that you were such and such and you did this particular horrible thing, I'd be like, I don't believe that. That's bullshit.
Right.
Right? And they could provide certain evidence, and I might still not believe it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a pretty reasonable guy, and I can look at evidence, and, you know, I feel like I'm pretty open-minded. So maybe if they, maybe I could kind of turn around and say, all right, this evidence in particular makes sense, and reevaluate our friendship. But I don't think that would ever happen.
Sure.
You know? But
that's so tough, though, man. Especially
it's the same thing with negative bias, right? It's if somebody that you really like, if you were to make a video about me, and somebody that doesn't watch me watched your video about me, it's very easy for them to say that, well, I like Aiden, I like his content, I like what he stands for. Obviously, this other dude is bullshit. He's done shit that's wrong. I mean, it doesn't matter whether I did anything wrong or not. It doesn't matter if I'm a good person or if I didn't make the mistake that you're claiming to make. It literally wouldn't matter, because some people just blindly follow other people.
That's so tough to deal with, man. I don't.
Yep.
That is such a.
And it's.
It's like
it's harder.
Honestly,
it is, and it's very difficult to deal with. It's one thing to deal with in high school, right? If somebody says that some girl is pregnant, to like get aroused out of other people, like obviously in 9 months when this person doesn't have a child,
they're fucking wrong.
Like they're fucking wrong, right? And even then, like usually in high school you can just get away from those kind of rumors and stuff. But like on the internet, when you have literally thousands of people coming after you, asking the same questions, not doing their own particular research to see whether that's correct or not, you just end up with like the wrong people informing the new people. I saw this client situation. There's a claim that this guy is doing something that's immoral because he doesn't have a particular certification or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not going any farther than that. I'm just trying to use this as an example. And it's like he's answered this question hundreds of times, probably. He's made videos about it, but there are still people in his new videos in the comment section saying, "Why don't you have certification for this thing?"
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up getting other people that don't like him commenting back to that original comment saying, well, here's the reasons why he hasn't answered this question, or he hasn't answered it, or we don't know, we want to know. And it's just a bunch of misinformation. It's a misinformation circle jerk, and it sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, that's some heavy shit right there. Holy fucking cow. Like,
yeah.
I think we also have to, I'll just say one little bit and then I'll go back to the next part of the comment.
Yeah.
I think people need at least a little bit to realize that the internet is inherently dishonest. Because of the fact that you're never going to get the full picture of somebody without seeing them or knowing them, like face to face. You're never going to have that full picture. And in order to judge somebody, right, fairly, you have to have all the information available. It's a lot easier for a court case to do it when they have both people and video evidence and, like, friends who lived near the house or whatever. But when you're making claims from, like, thousands of miles away to people that you've never even met before, on some basic inherent level, there's always going to be a little bit of dishonesty in there. I don't care how much you think you know the person, or how close you think you are, or how strong you think your claims are, how much evidence that you supposedly have. You're never going to have the full picture. Ever.
Agreed.
because of the internet, because of the fact that it's so anonymous, because of the fact that YouTubers have a personality that they show through videos and not their full self, usually 9 times out of 10, because of the fact that it's advice and people glean whatever they want from it, personal experiences, all that other shit, you're never going to know the full picture. And so I think from now on, we have to kind of expect, on a small level at least, and I don't mean like everybody's an asshole, I just mean to go into it expecting not to know the whole side of the story. To be open-minded, basically. To come to the conclusion that you're never going to be able to have all the pieces together. And that based on what you have now, you can form a conclusion, yes, but it's never going to be like a final answer on the thing, right? It's never going to be 100% accurate. And that right there is just at the core of all this, I think.
Yeah, and I think, again, just one more thing before we get to the rest of the comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
My suggestion, this is my suggestion right here. Don't fucking worry about other people on the internet.
Yeah.
Don't, if somebody is doing something that you don't like, oh well, boo-hoo, guess what? They probably are not affecting your life.
Yeah.
Now, there are circumstances. There are definitely circumstances, right? If a big YouTuber killed somebody,
Keemstar did it. I saw him.
Or he ran. He was like, "I'm fast as fuck, boy."
He killed a man.
But
blood, supersonic speed.
More specific, when the Me Too movement was going around, and there was a lot of people coming out of the woodwork as being sexual harassment and all that kind of stuff. There was a couple of YouTubers that ended up being harassers, and I think somebody even got down as a rapist or something, very serious shit. That's different. Take that shit seriously. Really try to do your research if this is somebody that you watch or follow. But I think when it comes down to really petty shit, things that don't personally affect you, things that don't really affect the entirety of society, get over it. Yeah. That's how I feel personally.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
But,
that's a fair point.
I don't know.
All right. Back on the comment. She kind of moves off of this and kind of transitions a little bit. She says, you touched on people coming from online into IRL. I just wanted to chime in on it quickly. Doing your best to obtain anonymity on the internet is imperative. I don't mean VPNs or use Tor, etc. I mean common sense precautions. Don't post pictures of your house anywhere. Don't make your phone number public. Avoid making your full name public. All these common sense things that people forget to do because we're so integrated with the internet. People now don't consider internet safety because of how involved it is with their lives now. Just use your brains, people. Now, not doing any of these don't excuse people actually finding you IRL. That's disgusting, predatory, wrong, and they shouldn't be doing that. But you can minimize your own risk, and everyone should be doing it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything here that I don't agree with.
100%.
Yeah.
Do your best. Be vigilant.
Protect your shit, man.
Don't fucking go to a YouTuber's house. Ever.
Don't go to a YouTuber's house. Yeah. Fuck. That scares me, man.
I'm
Things
worried.
that just...
I'm worried. I'm worried. You never know. Okay.
You never know.
Last little bit here. I'll just read the rest of it. This comment is really rambled, and I should start planning these big fuck off comments out before I post them. But hey, I'm tired and can't be arsed right now, Lamau. If anything needs to be clarified, just ask me and I will. The biggest 2 pieces of advice anyone should really take away from this comment are these: think before you post anything, and criticism does not equal baseless hate. I've dealt with a lot of criticism in my time on the internet, mostly because I do have anger issues and I clap back too quickly, too harshly, and I haven't dealt with both pointless hate and criticism effectively in the past. Over time, I've learned to think before I respond and deal with my anger. The biggest part of that was differentiating between personal attacks and pointless insults. I tend to meme on the pointless insults now, Lamau, but it's worked for me and my communities, and I like to think I'm considerably more respectable now. Well, I'll get back to you with more topic ideas when I have them. I was like that too, Everything is an insult. Everybody's doing me wrong. Everybody's out here trying to get me. Not necessarily. You don't know. Fucking... They could just be joking with you. They could be making some pointless insults. They're not actually harming me. I'm fine. I'm good.
Exactly. And again, I think this is it's like the whole cyberbullying thing. I personally believe bullying, cyberbullying, any of that in general, there's obviously a certain extent of it where it's like, this is not okay, this is very wrong. You need to seek professional help. You need to seek, like the law to like get this shit taken care of. But a lot of it is like if somebody calls you a name, like just fucking ignore it or meme back. That's how I feel about it.
Meme back.
It's like I can't tell you how many hate comments I've like just been like, LOL, you right.
LOL. That's hilarious.
Somebody's like, what's this bearded fat dude making videos about Titans for? And I'm like, LOL.
Labauiness.
LOL. Maybe if I didn't eat Taco Bell, it would be so bad.
Hit the dab.
Speaking of 5 minutes, boy.
5 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, that was quick.
I guess just to... Number one, thank you for your comment as always, Patient. I love
absolutely
reading these
for all you guys. Thank you for the comments.
Fucking novels. Secondly, I think the main thing I'm getting away from this is like a lot of people when they go into YouTube think a lot about like the kind of videos they're gonna make or the creative presence or the fun stuff, right? That's what gets you into doing YouTube. It's not the drama, it's not the shit, it's not the personal attacks or the mean comments or all this sort of stuff like that. I think what YouTubers and people getting into it need to learn is that, like, you as an entertainer, you as a public figure, because that's basically what you are, have an image, right? And a reputation. And how you carry yourself about in your videos, how your comments carry yourself about, how you act on Twitter, the people you interact with speak a lot about you. Sometimes too much, obviously, as we saw with James Gunn and other people. But if you're a YouTuber, you gotta just realize you're a public figure now. You're an entertainer now. And any problems that can come from that could and very much will happen to you. Drama, unnecessary shit, personal attacks. It's not fun. It's not great whatsoever. But I feel like at the very least, if there are any new aspiring YouTubers who maybe haven't dealt with any of this stuff, to realize that it is a thing and to think about, how would I react if I was in that scenario? How would I behave in that certain instance? And knowing yourself can hopefully prevent a lot of this stuff in the future. And, like, just in general, don't be an asshole. Like, that's the other thing. Just don't be a dick, man.
Don't be a dick.
I have no need to ruin other people's shit unless they're personally affecting me. So, like, let it be.
I agree.
But you're a public figure now. You got to deal with this stuff. It's very much real, and I'm glad Patient kind of pointed out, like, both ends of it. The faults of the commenters and the people watching you, and the fault of the content creator themselves. Where you can either be, like, too selfish, or the commenters are too hate-driven. They're both awful and shitty.
Yeah. Not fun.
Not fun. Not fun
at all.
whatsoever. But thank you for the comment, Patient.
Thank you once again.
Yeah. That's
cool.
all of them.
Well, let's end it off then.
Yeah. If you have a comment on this episode, what's our question of the day for editing?
Question of the day: how experienced with editing are you? And is that something that you want to continue to get better at, or is it something that you're happy with?
Yeah. Just tell us like your personal editing stories, journeys, problems, whatever. Anything you want to say about editing, leave that down in the comments below. And please, for the love of God, suggest us some topics.
Topics,
please. I'm just gonna start saying it at the beginning of every episode because people don't watch
Welcome
to the
to
end.
a YouTube podcast where we need your topics.
Comment them.
Yeah, you're right.
Please, we need them. They're very important.
But to end it off, if you want to support the podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/YouTube-podcast. If you want to give us money every month or one time or whatever, we'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Money's good.
It just helps keep the podcast around, all that good shit. But anyways, my Taco Bell's here in like 2 minutes. So I've been Zach.
And I've been Aden.
And we want to thank you for listening to this episode of another YouTube podcast.
Wiki feet!
Bye.